All right, welcome in everyone. Um, so it's captured me off of that. So I believe y'all should be able to hear me. But welcome into another iteration of Veteran Awareness Project workshops. Basically, we're gonna try to stay off the whole political aspect of it, but we have to like throw some of that stuff in there. It has to be said. Uh, it has to be gone over. There's things that are affecting people. There's no way of sugarcoating it. There's no way looking around it. It has to be said like, hey, there is going to be a drastic change when it comes to veteran affairs, when it comes to assisting veterans, when it comes to doing this, and it's not a matter of it not happening. It's already been stated it's going to happen, but the thing is not knowing going forward what is going to cause these changes, what are these changes going to actually be that they implement, is I think part of the problem. Never good to try to like start getting upset about the fact, but for some veterans they don't understand that some of these changes are going to happen for active duty service members. If you're active duty, these are things that are going to affect you once you get out the military. So it's good to pay attention for even for active duty service members to pay attention like, hey, these are things that are going on right now. These are things that are going to change. These are things that are going to impact your future after your time in service. Most people don't realize that military service is not forever. You do your contracts, you do a certain amount of time. It is not a, you could say, career. Like some people do their 20 years and they're gone. If you joined at the age of 18 and you did 20 years, you're getting out at 38 and you got a retirement check and you got a pension check. But the difference is that when people start mentioning and start talking about it, hey, we want to start taxing retirement pay, or you can't get retirement pay and disability pay, or just more restrictions towards getting disability pay. It makes it kind of difficult for veterans and for service members to actually get ahead and actually take advantage of these things. Um, Most veterans don't know a lot of the stuff that they need to know. A lot of the information is not like it's withheld from them. It's just it's not brought to their it's not brought to their awareness how it should be. There's too many instances where a veteran just didn't know, didn't find out, or found out after it was already too late. So that's the one thing is just like trying to make sure that we are, maintaining that awareness with veterans, teaching veterans, and teaching our active duty also, because it is a great thing to serve this country, but at the same time, you can't do it for your whole life. You can't be a service member, but at the same time you will deal with things for the rest of your life because of your time in service. So that's a it's a tricky situation and a tricky thing to explain to people because most people don't think about it. So once a military service member joins, um their whole process, their whole thought process is just, I'm serving my country. I'm doing what I have to do. I'm serving here, or I got stationed in this location. I got stationed in that location. No soldier never really thinks about Marine, Coast Guard, whatever branch you may know or be associated with. Nobody starts thinking about the next 10 years. Some people don't get the 10 years, but some people don't think about it at all. So it's just like they're serving. They're not paying attention to, hey, getting stuff documented. They're not taking advantage of the tuition assistance to be able to get a degree without owing anything or even using their GI Bill. Sorry, kind of under the weather. And then or losing like their using the ability to use the VRE program, or if you're from Texas, you have the Hazelwood Act that pays you to go to school for free. But there's a lot of things that go into that and a lot of changes that are happening that are going to affect service members. Uh, Most members don't know about having health insurance or keeping health insurance after they got out. Basically, people have, when you're in service, you have the life insurance. You have it at either, I think they moved it up to like 500,000 that you can have for a life insurance coverage. And it was just like people don't realize that once you're out of the military, that's no longer there. You would have to go out into the market and get your own insurance. Even though they have like the VJLI and stuff like that, it goes into it, but some of those are basically like term insurances, and most people don't realize that if you're going with term insurance, what ends up happening is that you will be you'll have that insurance claim for a certain amount of time, but then that is going to expire at some point. So now, as you get older, your health does not get better. And then term rarely pay, yeah, it doesn't pay out as much as it should. But then that's what most people don't understand is just like once you get to that point, it's gonna be you have to re-up your insurance again. And then once you're re-upping it again, they now start charging you a bit more because now you are older and you're more susceptible for them to have to pay out, which they always have an issue with paying out. But we've noticed that's an issue all over the place with insurance. So that's not something that just pertains to service members or veterans. That's something that happens all across. Hey, good afternoon, Annette. And it's just like this is something that happens with service members. It's just like the lack of awareness makes you start putting money into things that you probably shouldn't have, or you didn't have an awareness to, or you didn't know what was going on, and it changes everything for those service members going forward. A lot of times we end up with service members that end up homeless. How do we prevent that? We got to make sure we start teaching service members while they're in service how to do their finances, how to maintain stuff, how to be financially literate enough to know like, hey, this is your paycheck, this is how much you make, these are your entitlements that you receive. Not the same thing because the entitlements are tax free. Same thing with the disability compensation, it comes tax free. But at the same time, it's just like, how do you allocate that? Making sure you're allocating it properly, making sure that you have the coverage, the food, your health services done. Because a lot of people have this mentality and this thought process that the VA sucks. And I think one thing that I want to tell people is just like not everybody has the same experience with the VA. What's up, Jimmy? Not everybody has the same experience with the VA. Some people have shit ass times. Some people have great times. The problem is that you have so many people, and it's just like what bothers me more sometimes is like you see videos because I'm on TikTok and you see the videos of certain veterans like talking shit about the VA, like oh VA wait times is long, or the people that work there are lazy, stuff like that. But they never take the time to think of it from their perspective. A veteran never sits down and looks at it like, you know what? Let me see what these people go through. The amount of times that veterans call and are assholes, straight up assholes to people over the phone because they don't get what they want. Veterans don't talk about that part. It's customer service, but at the same time, you have to have some decency and some respect, even though you are a service member. You're a veteran. I understand that. But you still have to have some sort of fucking discipline or respect towards these people working. These people don't know who the fuck you are. They don't know what your fucking situation is. You just assume that because they pull up a thing, they just automatically know everything that you're dealing with. And that's why we have the issue where it's just like, yeah, I'm gonna be rude to you too if you come in here and start acting a fool. I was like, there's nothing that says I have to. Well, the job is to help you, but if you want to be an asshole about it, that doesn't mean I'm gonna go above and beyond to make sure you're taken care of. And a lot of veterans don't understand that. It's like a lot of veterans go to some of these places and it's just like, if you are in a Republican state and you are in one of the lower literacy rate states, whether it's red or blue, if you have low literacy rate, if you have a poorer state that doesn't have the funding or doesn't know how to manage their funding, that goes into everything that deals with the VA. The money goes to the VA, but it's depending on your state. It's depending on who you have running that hospital. It's not like, and that's why I say it's like accountability is so hard sometimes because the thing is people start putting the blame on the wrong places. It was just like everybody's like, oh, the VA is in entirety is trash. I was like, no, maybe that doctor you were seeing was trash. Maybe that department, maybe that office, those are the places that were straight up trash. But now you putting it as the whole thing is trash. It's like, no, hold the people fucking accountable. It was just like we don't hold. That's the problem that we have in society right now. We don't have any way of holding people accountable. It's just like, look, some veterans, hey, we filed disability claims, have no fucking idea what we got. Then we get turned down, and then all of a sudden, it's the fucking VA's fault. That you can't put the blame on the VA if you didn't do your due diligence to do a good job with your disability claim. That's not how it works. It doesn't work that way. I can't just be like, oh, the VA sucks, but I didn't do my job. I didn't fill out my forms correctly. My stuff got denied because I didn't provide evidence or I didn't know what I was doing. And I just thought the VA was just going to give me a thing. The other misconstrued thing is also with civilians. Civilians think the same thing. It's just like sometimes it's like, oh, veterans just go on and get benefits. Most veterans do not get their benefits till after a year or two after dealing with the VA. And in that meantime, they're not getting any help because it's not service connected. So that's one thing people don't understand, but it's just like there's too many people that say the VA is trash. Or it's just like start looking at the states that people say this at. That's the biggest thing I want to say. I was like, let's start looking at these states that are already terrible states. That they don't fund anything. They have lack of resources. They don't have money for anything. And then see if we can correlate the fact that those same states are the same ones that have shitty VAs. Because people are like, oh, you can't just throw money at the situation and fix it. With the VA, that's literally what worked. And people are just like, oh, we should do all these cuts. We should cut 80,000 people because that's going to make shit better. I was just like, people forget that before the PACT Act and all these hirings, wait times were worse. Care was even worse. They didn't have the people to get care. And people don't understand that. And it's just like, that's something that needs to be brought to the attention. But some people are so thick-headed in their thought process that it just doesn't do it. And it's just like, you gotta actually realize it's like, look, the VA can do so much. Most of the people that have been hired, like the crazy thing is that people don't realize what's going on here. It's just like this administration just has a problem with anything that was done with the prior administration. Plain and simple. Because the thing is from during Biden's administration, when they did the PACT Act, they hired over 60,000 people. And that's how we started getting and chopping away at those disability claims, at those CMP exams, at those doctor appointments. We started chipping away at it because we had actual more people to actually work the thing. Now, don't get me wrong. Some of those people should be fired because they probably don't do a good job. But that's on the performance evaluation. That's not on, oh, we just need to cut money. It was just like the past administration hired about 60,000 people. And now this administration comes in and says they want to cut 80,000. Basically, all the stuff we just joined, all the people that just got hired are basically getting fired, even though they were hired mostly to assist with the PACT Act and to help reduce the numbers that we were dealing with before. Because that was something that was identified by committees, that was identified by many people that, hey, the VA is understaffed. How we're cutting it more and making it more beneficial, I just don't know. No, they're just getting fired. It's not even that they're getting fired because it's just they were in their probationary periods. So when you take a government job, and that's the one thing a lot of people don't understand, is like when you take that government job, you're usually under a probationary period of 1 to 2 years. What they mean by probationary period is like, hey, within that 2 periods, if they decide that they don't need the position or you're not doing good enough, you can be removed and you will be fired. But you are holding that position basically because it's there. If the allocation for that position doesn't go or isn't there after those 2 years, you would be let go. In this case, these are people that some people got promoted in positions that did that. The other thing is listening to that the VA secretary, Doug Collins. That dude is a dumbass. Sorry to say it. It sucks. I thought I had high hopes for him. I thought he was going to do some good. But this dude playing out like it was shown, and you've seen the people being fired. You've seen the videos of people posting on firing. You have federal workers that have been talking about being fired, what they were doing. Some of them are just like, hey, I had great reviews on my performance evaluations and they still got me out. So it's just like, and then for certain services, there have been cuts already from those people removed. Now, they want to say that they're not cutting here, they're not cutting there, but the thing is they haven't been able to give you a list of where they're actually going to make these cuts. So it's like you're telling me you're going to cut another 80,000 without actually doing anything to actually tell me where these 80,000 are. And yes, Annette, paying a contractor or paying a contract is what happens. And that's what people don't understand. That's what it gets to. It was like people need to understand that using the contract method is what got us where we are now. Y'all want to talk about efficiency and all that stuff? All them contracts were not needed. Some of these contracts are overpaid to people that don't need to get paid, but there's no accountability. There's no accountability from anybody. It's just like, oh, we're just gonna cut stuff. Cool, I agree. Cut the shit that doesn't need to be in there. But when you tell me you're gonna cut something that's gonna affect the way everything operates, that shit doesn't make no sense to me. Because there's no such thing as you are going to fix it and make the VA more efficient with less people when the problem was there wasn't enough people. You just can't do that. You can't have people. And that's yes, Annette. That's the thing. That's what people don't understand. The VA doesn't pay enough for certain jobs. Certain jobs they pay enough, but for the in need jobs, they don't pay enough. They're on a pay scale. And you got to think about it. When you have a doctor, a specialist of any kind, these people are making easily 6+ figures, maybe close to 7 figures with all the stuff they doing. So now, ain't nobody in the VA getting paid no 7 figures, unless you probably like the director and you might be getting compensation like that. But besides that, the doctors, they can make more money on the outside and not have to deal with veterans. Because like I said, not all veterans are great. Some of us are assholes. Some of us are straight up assholes just because they don't get what they want. But then it's easy to say, oh, this doctor sucked, but you didn't do your homework. You didn't prepare for the CMP exam. You didn't ask somebody what could possibly be asked. What can possibly be done? What are the kind of questions they ask me? Should I bring a notebook with the information I have? Should I do this? Should I do that? I was just like, a lot of the blame goes on veterans too. And it's just like, we can't just blame the VA. It's on the vets too. It's on both sides. You can't be great as a vet and then be bad at the same time. You can't submit a disability claim and not have it properly filled out and expect great results. You don't do your homework, how you gonna pass? I was like, it's not even because a lot of people want to go the cheat route and all that stuff, and it's just like, yeah, everybody knows how them CMP examiners work. That's the thing, and it's just like, but the thing is, people don't realize it's like that's somebody that's contracted. That's not somebody that works through the VA. That's somebody that's contracted, but where's the accountability? If this person truly was a terrible CMP examiner, there has to be a way to cut that contract, or not do it like Doge does. And it was like not do it like Doge does and say, oh, we're saving money, but you're actually not saving anything because you're still paying out these contracts to people that weren't doing their job. So you found that they weren't doing their job, but you still had a contract with them. So who hired them in the first place? So it's just like, where's the accountability factor to that? Because there's a program, there's a director. Somebody has to approve these funds when they go to these places. Who's doing this? No accountability. It was just like there's no accountability with veterans themselves. Don't hold themselves accountable. It's just like nobody makes a perfect disability claim. There's no template for a perfect disability claim. It's like you file a disability claim, you get what you get. Do you have the documentation? Do you have the shit you need? If you don't, it doesn't matter it doesn't matter what VA you went to. But if you're in a place where the VA has already been terrible and the state is terrible, like, look, if your state has terrible services just for regular people, why did you think the VA was going to be any better in your state? Because, like, sometimes it's like common sense questions. It's just like a person at the VA can't get paid more than the vice president. Look at that. And these doctors is making way more on a yearly basis than these people make just off of that. Most of these doctors make what they would get paid in that within probably the first couple of months of the year with all the appointments and all the stuff they see, all the stuff. And it's just like people don't understand it and they don't see that. So it's just like people need to understand it's just like the VA is doing the best it can with what it got. Yeah. And that's the thing. It's just like when you talk about this whole Doge thing, it was just like I don't think people agree with what Doge is doing. The thing is you got some people that have been going overboard with the fucking process. People want efficiency, but they want efficiency done the right way. It's just like if you go get your car fixed and you need to change your tires, but they want to say that they got to take the fucking engine out to fucking do it, you're going to have questions. You're going to start worrying like, yo, why do I need to take my engine out? It's for my tires we here for, right? But it's just like you start going into different areas of the car to try to get other stuff out of it to just be like, oh, you need fixing here. Or we need to do this. And it's just like, that's not how this shit works. I was just like, we're just trying to pick at parts of the car. It was just like, yeah, we could take this part out. We could take this part out. Your car still runs. We did fix the tires, but the car's still running. It don't have everything it used to have, but we made it run more efficiently. That shit don't work like that. You ain't gonna tell me you're gonna take part of the engine out and then be like, oh, the car's working just as fine as it did. No. Most of these processes and things have been put in place and they have been improving over the past 5, 6, 7 years. You want to bring down the levels to 2019 where it was just like 80,000 less people. It was just like in those days, 6, 7 years ago, we had more issues with veterans. It was always a talk of like, what was it? Like veterans are going to the hospital and they were just sitting there to die, basically, just waiting to die while waiting and sitting. That was the talk in those days. There was no, oh, we had to do veterans are being seen in so long, wait times is this extensive, this, and that. It was just like, but the thing is people don't realize that. It's just like the same thing with like these workshops. It's just like, some people can learn from this. Most people would rather not tune in because it's just like, you know what? I'm not going to get anything out of this person. It was just like, you know what? You can learn about stuff. It was like, yeah, we need, like, having people, the branches of government ain't working. Our Congress isn't working. And that I think is the biggest thing. Because the thing is then you have these people that are in charge of these positions that aren't helping. You have the Veteran Committee Affairs stuff. I was just like, excuse me. How is it like just I don't know how to explain this, how to figure this one out. How is it that you have a Veteran Affairs Committee in the House and you have a Veteran Affairs Committee in the Senate, and none of these people were contacted for any other information to see about all these cuts? How does that add up? How does that add up? How do we make these decisions when the people that are in charge of the committees and oversee the committees and do these oversight committees and are always asking the VA, hey, how are y'all fixing this or how y'all fixing that? How are these people not being contacted or aware of the of what's going on? And that's the thing. Most people. The thing is a lot of the veterans now they just expect shit to get done. They're just like appreciate the gift. It was like that people they just expect the shit to get done. It doesn't operate that way. It- It's just like people just think it's just like the like I don't I really I'm trying to like that's why it's like I'm trying to figure out so I could try to talk to veterans about it because the thing is some of them are just too hard-headed that don't want to listen about these things. They're just like they're so stuck on that bad experience that it's just like this was my experience. The VA fucking sucks. It was like, no, bro, it sucked for you for one time. It doesn't suck for me. I get my appointments. Yeah, I gotta wait for my appointments because I know I'm not fucking the biggest priority. I'm not a fucking multi-billionaire that could just walk up anywhere and be like, look, I need care or something like that. It's just like, Gabriel, what's up, man? That was like some of the committees you can be a part. Like, you can do this stuff, but the thing is just like nothing is being done through them. And that's the thing that bothers me the most. Because it's like, look, when they got the Code of Federal Regulations, right? Shit, I put up a question not too long this past week asking, like, do y'all know what the Code of Federal Regulation is? Have y'all used it? Did you use it to file a disability claim? I was just like, no. Some people don't even know about it. I was just like, but if you notice with the Code of Federal Regulations, if any changes are gonna be made that are that drastic, they they review the stuff. It goes through a time period where they have to see if it's going to be worth changing or not. Like these changes that are happening to mental health, changes coming to tinnitus, changes coming to sleep apnea. Those are things that have been spoken about for 2+ years now, going on 3. We hit 3 years on the 22nd of this month. It's 3 years of them talking about it. Of these changes. So it's taking them 3 years to try to figure out how to become more effective or how to change the CFR to better rate individuals. So if it's taking 3 years to do that, why would you think that taking back all the stuff that we've progressed with the VA is going to be helpful now? You're not going to tell me that the VA is going to get better. We've been hiring more. We've been having more appointments. Times have gone down. The backlog is still high as shit, but it's still getting tended to better than what it was before. Most people don't see that. Because why? Because they go with the VA and they got, like, it's crazy to me that it's just like, you get mad. Veterans get mad at the fact that it's just like, I went to get seen by this doctor, or I got a specialist I gotta go see, right? They go and see the specialist, and it's just like, how long was your wait time in the civilian world to this? It's different. You know why? Because they're you paying for it. You will get a bill. You will go through insurance. You will go. It's not automatic. You still gotta wait for that process. VA is basically free healthcare. The shit isn't free. It's basically, it's free to you because of what you did for this country, but it's a free service. It's still going through the wait times. If you know you ain't gotta pay for it, best believe more veterans are gonna try to use this instead of having to go through their actual job insurance and then try to pay something off of that. Imagine the difference that makes, that you can go to the doctor knowing that you have an issue and you get it taken care of. I was just like, it takes time. See, look, Annette says it took her 6 months to see a specialist in the civilian world. It was like, for some jobs, it's just difficult to do it. The VA in certain places is great. The thing is you got to look at the state. Look at the state. Does your state attract people? Are you in one of those states that people will be like, you know what? I got to work here. If you in a state that nobody wants to fucking work in, and all the people that you have that are good at stuff leave the state, that's part of the reason why you have these issues. Your state may not be an attractable state to hire people. Look at, you go on USA jobs and you see all these openings for jobs, but you start noticing that it's in certain places that these jobs are more abundant than others. Because shit, if I'm going to do the same job, but if I'm going to work in the New York City area, which is going to give me a higher locality pay, I'm going to go and do the same thing I can do with higher pay. I'm not going to go to the state that has a low locality, doesn't even want to pay me that much because of the locality, and then everything else is swamped. It was just like, people forget, like, it's hard because it's like people don't understand the fact that it's just like burnout is an actual thing. I was just like, imagine being the doctors, all these veterans, and you one of the few doctors that actually stays in your location. Imagine having to see a couple of thousand veterans, some with PTSD, some with anxiety, some have physical issues, some have mental issues, all these different things. And you expect that doctor to remember everybody. Most of other doctors in the civilian world, they got their private practices and they know everybody by name because they see the same people. They be like, you know what? This is the amount of people we got. This is what I'm sticking to right now. I can see people, I can take care of people. And the VA is like, no, we got this one doctor. This one doctor is the doctor that's going to service all these veterans that come into this place just because this is who we have. It was like, oh, you need a specialist for heart conditions. Well, we ain't got no damn cardiologist in the VA right now. So we got to send you to another location, wherever the hell they are, because we ain't got nobody. Ain't no cardiologist gonna work at the VA when he making $100,000 easily as a cardiologist. So it's like, all right, now we got to pay a contract to have this person work for us to take care of these veterans that are struggling and have heart issues. Because we don't have it, so we got to send you out. That costs money. That still has to be processed. And it was just like, depending on where you are located influences a lot. If you are in the middle of rural, open land, nothing but land, hills, no damn trees around you and shit like that, and the closest town, when you go grocery shopping into a store, your closest place is like 10 miles away. That's a big place. You ain't gonna have fucking doctors just readily available. So yes, you are gonna have to travel. You're not gonna have a VA hospital as your hospital in every location. That shit isn't realistic. You came from the middle of nowhere, shit, Wyoming or some shit. You barely got a big enough population. They're not gonna have a specific huge ass facility for a place that doesn't have the population for it. It was just like, that's why they're trying to open it up to community care, but people fail to realize that you have to pay out to community care. The same way, like, and that's the thing with a lot of veterans, that they don't understand the insurance part of it. It was just like, imagine like when you go to your regular doctor, he's under your insurance. When you go to a doctor that isn't in coverage of your network, the price explodes. So look at the difference in just going to a doctor regularly, and you just don't have, your doctor is not in network. You paying a shitload more money just because the doctor isn't in network. So now take that with the VA. This doctor doesn't have a contract with us, but you need a cardiologist, and we're gonna find you a cardiologist. The closest one is 4 hours fucking away, because that's the best specialist we can find that works with the VA. We're gonna have to send you 4 hours. What are you gonna be mad at the VA because they couldn't find anybody else for you? I was just like, that makes no sense. That was like, people don't understand that. People like, because people, the thing is a lot of people just be like, you know what? Well, they opened it up for community care, but then people don't realize that community care only works when they're in your network. You can have a doctor that knows, he could be a cardiologist, and the dude is like 3 streets away from you. You're gonna be like, well, my cardiologist, I know this cardiologist that's three blocks away, but he don't work for the VA. He don't work with the VA. So that's the same thing as going to a doctor out of network. They don't want you to do that because they don't have a contract with them. Because the thing is the amount of bills that you will get from that is crazy. If you start, especially if you start asking for like specifics, then it may take even longer. Because the thing is like, people forget, like, this country doesn't mass produce doctors or medical quality. We don't mass produce that shit. We'll mass produce the shit out of some pills. Pills will get mass produced with no problem in the States. You need a pill? Oh, we don't got that one, but we got this generic version. Oh, we don't got that generic version, but we got this other one. Put it like this. If you a veteran right now and you have a shitload of pills you take, look at the damn label. And anytime you get a refill, see if you're actually getting the pills from the same location. And you'll notice that sometimes your pills are manufactured by a whole different company, meaning that was probably a different contract. That could have been that the first thing of pills you got was certain contract, that shit expired, and now another company is starting to do it. Annette, nobody wants to go to medical school because nobody wants to end up owing whatever $100,000 just to go through it, and then try to go somewhere and they talk about you need experience. It's like, my experience is the $200,000 I owe in damn loan money. That's my damn experience right there. It's just like, but at the same time, it's just like, those are the people sometimes that they go to medical school, and those are the people we end up hiring at the VA. So most of the time, if you notice, a lot of these VA doctors are not these old grumpy people that have been doing this for like the past 50 years. It's younger people. Why? Because younger people, to keep in their profession, will take a lower paying job. But at the same time, those same people, once they get that experience, are the same ones that dip out and go to another location. Why? Because it's just like, look, the VA is only paying me this much. And now I come to realize that I'm worth this much, or I can make this much with my own place or working at a different place. I was just like, most people don't understand that. Fire, appreciate it. Appreciate you. It's just like, but that's what people need to realize. It's just like these are the things that we don't talk about and we don't go over enough that vets don't understand. It's just like these are crucial things that are part of us as veterans. That's a whole different one than that. The whole Department of Education thing, that one is just like, but at the same time, if you don't have people educated enough, you not making sure people are being educated. Uh, SSDI, I do not have too much information on. I know it's a whole different ordeal to try to process it. Even though you can be totally and permanently disabled as a vet through the VA, it's a different process and different rating criteria for SSD. So in those cases, I always tell people for SSD, you most likely chances are you may need to talk to like a lawyer or at least get a consultation with a lawyer to try to get information as to what it is you have to do and what you have to provide. Yeah, it's just like, but that's the thing. People don't understand that. It's just like you have to learn about these things when it comes to it, and you have to realize it. The VA cannot compete with the private sector. The public sector never competes with the private sector when it comes money wise. It just doesn't. But veterans don't understand that. Veterans just think that, oh, we got this, it's gonna work. It was just like, yeah, people get hired for certain things. Is your state pushing for it more? Is your local VA pushing for it more? Have you seen job postings of your VA, of them trying to get jobs? Or it's just like, have you heard of somebody retiring? Because me, I got put into community care because the person that they had retired. What was I supposed to do? Get pissed off because the person decided to work their years and then decided to call it quits? It's not my fault. That's not the VA's fault. But now you're going to have a backlog of people that were looking to see this specialist and they can't find it. My question is, I was just awarded part of my ex-wife's retirement. Do I have to report it? If it is indemnity compensation, I believe that's tax free. If it is anything that is tax free, you don't have to report it on your taxes. If it was tax free, you don't have to report it on your taxes. If taxes is being taken out of it, then yes, you need to report it. Because SSD, I believe, does it get charged? I'm not sure. I don't collect it there. I don't know. Social Security, I believe, does get charged for it. So that's something. If it's getting charged, if you're getting taxes taken out of it, that's something you're gonna report. Yeah, retirement payment they have to report because that does get taxed. In certain states, though, they have clauses that if you retired or something like that, you don't. But if you're getting retirement pay, that means that's getting taxed, so you would have to report that. If it's a tax-free compensation of any sort that you're receiving, then you don't report that because it's tax-free. But yeah, that's the biggest thing that we need to realize with the VA is like, yeah, SSD is also reportable. I appreciate that. It's just like people need to understand that these are things that are ongoing. That it's just like it takes time. I was like, the thing is you gotta wait and see because the thing is that's the problem right now with this administration. We don't know what is going to change. That's why I haven't even been making videos anymore of like benefits or even I started doing them and then it's just like I did the workshops with the 2025 federal benefits and stuff like that. That might get updated. So it's like I can't even push telling people, oh, these are the benefits and stuff like that, because I don't know what's gonna change from here to 6 months from now. Because remember, if they're gonna change 80,000, they're gonna dismiss another 80,000 people. They're already talking about all these contracts, these contracts that they found that they want to get rid of and lose all that stuff. What are those contracts? Like I said, if it's something that's one of those redundant, one of those something that is like something that's not necessary, I'm all for it. But at the same time, some of these contracts were made for a reason. Some of them was just like laziness, which get rid of them. But some of them is just like some of these programs or these pilot programs that a lot of money is going into were brought into the situation for a reason. It wasn't because they just wanted to do it. It's just like a lot of it is because we know we need the shit. We know we need the veterans this. We know we need the veterans that. We know we need assistance with this. Hey, this program may assist in this. Like the pilot program that they got with the VA now. I don't know if you can consider it a pilot program anymore, but the fact that they want to do research on veterans. It's one of those that they send you just like, hey, do you want to be a part of this study, which they'll obtain your information, use your stuff to like develop a plan and stuff like that. And it's just like, some people file for it, some people don't. But those are programs that might be cut. And the reason for those programs is to, hey, how can we better identify what may be caused or what may be causing these things or what it develops in or who it develops in? Because if it's like, hey, if they know that people that were deployed in this area, in this location with these people had these symptoms, developed this cancer, developed this, then it's just like, hey, and then it starts looking like one of those infomercials that comes out in the middle of the night. It's just like, hey, were you deployed in this location? Have you been dealing with this, and that? Possible side effects could have been this, and that. Well, you may be entitled to some compensation. That's what it ends up being because it's just like, oh, okay, y'all were all in this location. Y'all were all by this burn pit. This burn pit, they were throwing more than just shit in there and they were burning it. Y'all were inhaling all this shit. Well, this has developed this in veterans. So if you were in this area, you should be getting screened for this. I was like, yeah, it makes it easy to be presumptive. But the thing is most people don't know about the presumptive list. Most people don't know that, hey, the PACT Act tells you these are the things we have identified. Why? Because they've noticed veterans coming to the VA with these issues. Oh, they developed a cancer with this. They got this sort of cancer. They've rhinitis, sinitis, all those things are being put in there and it's there. By August, Jimmy, it's supposed to be that we know what the changes to mental health are or if they're actually going to be there. Just like they've been talking about these changes for mental health. It was supposed to happen in April. Next month, we are supposedly going to know what happens with sleep apnea and hearing. And like I said, that's going to be a major change for veterans alone because tinnitus is 10%. That's an easy one. Now they might remove it. If they were to remove that, a lot of people will lose out on a bunch of secondary claims. That's one thing. I don't know how that makes it more efficient because the thing is if you are progressing and developing issues because of your time in service, no matter if it was in the service or not, that's something that needs to be covered. But we don't know what's being covered. We don't know what's being taken out. The easiest thing is just like they were like, oh, we did not remove any crisis hotline personnel. But then they came out saying that, and now they backtracked because they tried to hire the people back. So a lot of that has been going on also where a lot of people are using their jobs. Programs are going to probably be cut, and then there's going to be enough uproar that they go, oh, shit, we need to bring that back. Because a lot of these VA workers, some of them have been fired, and some of them they're trying to rehire back like, we need you back. I was like, so clearly it wasn't that you actually evaluated me. It was just, you just decided to throw shit away without checking it. If you are in any of these services or don't know how these services work, it's hard for me to believe that you are actually cutting the stuff that you know needs to be cut. Because some of these programs are valuable to some veterans, some is not. They were just like, you're going to take all this money and put it back into into veterans care, right? How do you do that? How do you explain that? Is it going to teach people how to read the Code of Federal Regulation? Is it going to teach people how to better file their disability claims? Is it a better way for people to identify what their symptoms may be that they can file a disability claim for? Like, where's the money going? Because you can't tell me it's going to go to better healthcare if you're trying to remove 80,000. Like, the 80,000 doesn't mean that they're going to come from doctors and stuff like that. But at the same time, this sets that little bug in a lot of people's head. I was like, look, if these people just decide they want to get rid of this stuff, who's stopping them? You're getting rid of these jobs. It's like, if I'm working under those conditions, I'm looking for another fucking job. If I'm working under the conditions that it's just like, hey man, you got this job now, but at any moment in time, these people might say that we need to cut some more slack and you might lose your job. It was just like a lot of people ain't gonna stay there. I was just like, now you have people that are gonna be working from here to August that don't know if they're gonna have a job in August. That will lead to more people leaving early with the people that you plan to fire also. So you're gonna have people leaving because they get fired. You already had the amount of people that said that they wanted to take the early resignation to leave early. And then you're gonna have people that are gonna start looking for work elsewhere because of the fact that, hey, I know I'm not gonna keep this. That was a symptom here. Tendonitis is a symptom of hearing loss. They're trying to change. They're trying to change the whole stuff that basically like tinnitus is not going to be something that you claim. It's like a secondary to something, or it's part of something else that is wrong with your hearing. I was just like, I still hear people flatlining in my ear. It was just like, that's not gonna change. It still bothers me, but it's different criteria. But it's just like waiting to see what it is because the CFR doesn't have that yet. Like I said, the CFR is available. The CFR is available, and it says displaying up to date as of March 6th, last amended February 11th, and that's the last time it was changed. April, if we do get changes, it's gonna probably say effective date will take place at this time. Then from here, that's when it goes. So anybody that files prior to that will fall under the old rules. New rules will fall under after the effective date. But at the same time, there's a lot of changes going through. Just like there's a wait time for filing. Even if you have a fully developed claim, which means you have all your documentation, you have your evidence, you have your nexus letter, you have everything that'll show like, hey, look, I don't need to like I'm gonna go through a CMP exam, but all my documentation and everything is already supplied to you and is already visible, and those claims are still taking months. You cut down the workforce, it's gonna be more months. What was 3 months could be 6 months. What was 6 months could be a year now. It was just like I just don't I don't understand. And the thing is like the bigger issue is that vets ain't speaking out about this. Veterans are not saying anything. Active duty isn't paying attention because active duty don't care right now. But active duty will care on the back end. Active duty's gonna realize like, holy shit, I don't got the same benefits anymore. Yeah, and that's what it is. It's making it harder for new claims. And it's just like the crazier thing to me is also I always got crazy things that I realize. It's just like you have this whole generation of vets that are Afghan and Iraq veterans. Whole generation of them. You're gonna make it harder for them to get benefits. You making it harder for them to get mental health funding or stuff like that. You making it difficult because it's just like, oh, DEI. I was just like, what the fuck does DEI have to do with healthcare? It's just like the thing is the reason why all of a sudden now they starting to turn on Elon because of these things is because look at the backlash that they're getting. It was just like, you're not gonna tell me less people. The thing is that's what they want to do. They want to exploit people to the maximum that they can. Morning, Jazz. It was just like, that's what they want to do. They want to exploit people more than they fucking can. There's no way around it because it's like you can't have this many people working and then you want to cut the number of people that do the job, and then you expect all these people to pick up the slack of the other people that were working also. And you're right on that. It's just like the people don't understand that. People don't understand if there was 4 people that were doing the job, and then all of a sudden there's only 1 person doing the job. Now this person is doing 4 people's jobs, and their pay isn't getting bumped up to match 4 different people's jobs. So it's gonna be one or the other. Either they're gonna do a great job, but shit is gonna be slow, or they're gonna be a shit job and they're gonna be fast. Yeah, I know that's the whole thing. They found that it was just like Elon doesn't have the authority to be firing people. The problem is that he's telling these departments to do it, and then the departments are doing it. Doug Collins, he's being told, "Hey, you need to make these cuts," and then he's the VA secretary, so he'll go to the department, but like, "Hey, we're gonna cut here, we're gonna cut here, we're gonna cut here." But it's just like people across the board are being cut. The VA employs a lot of people, and they employ them all over the nation. So when you're making these cuts, is it from locations that are overstaffed? Because if you're saying that the VA is understaffed to begin with, where are you getting the cuts from? Is it from a VA facility that's already outdated and has issues? Or is it from a place that already has an overwhelmingly good thing and they have too many people? It was just like, we don't know that. That isn't being explained, but veterans are taking to it that it's just like you want to be mad at the VA. Like the VA didn't choose to fire your people. The VA works with what it got. The same way us as service members, we worked with what we had. When we were out in the field or wherever you at, you ran out of something or you needed something, you became resourceful. The VA is trying to be resourceful. But I can show you when it was a 4-man job and you were doing the job by yourself and you got overworked and you were burnt out and you were tired as shit. I know your ass wasn't happy. When you had to empty out a Connex or something and everybody else was hurt or something, or you were the only one left and you had to do that shit on your own, you didn't get paid anymore. You didn't get any preferential treatment after that. You were just like, well, you did the job of 4 people. You didn't get the extra pay. These people ain't trying to do that. The thing is that's when people are going to start paying attention when it starts affecting people's lives. And that's the problem. By then, it's too fucking late. That's the problem we have with vets. And that's what we have with society right now. Because if you talk to society, even look, on TikTok, I've gone off on topics when it came to dealing with, and it's more a political thing there. But it's just like, until they don't start getting affected, people are fucking selfish and don't care about what's going on around them. That's how this society is, unfortunately, right now. People ain't paying attention to what's going around till it affects them. Or they thought that what they were doing was not going to affect them. Case in point, Nebraska. They decided to do one thing and then they thought, oh, well, this isn't going to affect me, so I don't really care for it. But then once it starts affecting them, it's just like, oh, now you want to cry about it. I was just like, you can't have it both ways. It was just like, you did one thing and these are the outcomes for it. These are the repercussions for it. These are the consequences. The same way with all these firings. Most of the Republican Party, they want to say that, oh, we're doing great and stuff like that. Most Republican states are the ones that are hurting when it comes to these things that are going on, and their constituents are upset because they're not being taken care of. They're not being listened to. The thing is with vets, if the vets are so stuck in those like, oh, I'm going to vote this way, I'm going to vote this way, but I'm not actually paying attention to what it is because I'm just selfish and I'm not actually looking out for my brothers in arms, it's a whole different story. It's just like, look, I do these workshops. I don't care if you're Republican. I don't care if you're Democrat. I just want to make sure you are taken care of. I want to make sure you are aware of the benefits and the stuff you earned because you served this country. But at the same time, If you don't care that it doesn't affect you as a veteran, but it's going to affect somebody else, you a piece of shit. There's no way around it. There's no other way of me putting it. You are a piece of shit. If just because it's not affecting you as a veteran, but it's affecting others, you don't give a shit and you ain't gonna say nothing about it. Why? Oh, that shit doesn't affect me. It's not gonna affect me. Oh, them taking away the VRE program or taking away counselors and stuff like that, that don't affect me. I already got a job. So basically, you just being selfish enough that since it doesn't pertain specifically to you and you ain't using it, you ain't trying to help out another veteran. So then it's just like, bro, you were probably a piece of shit while serving too. And I was like, and there's a lot of those going around, and they just try to claim it as, oh, I'm this, I did this. It was just like, cool, you were still a piece of shit. Because if you're not trying to take care of those around you or the same people that did the same shit you did, you're not doing anything beneficial for them. If you're the one that's saying, oh yeah, we need to cut this, we need to cut that, because you don't fucking use it, one of your battle buddies might need the fucking program or could have been using that resource. But because you figured it's not affecting me, I don't give a shit, and I was selfish, now we just gonna get rid of the program. I was like, and how does that help any vets? So down the line, as vets continue to come out, because that's one thing, we don't run out of vets. We always have a military. So if we're not taking care of those that are coming forward for us, we just moving ourselves back. I was like, it's easy to say that. It's easy to blame that. But it's just like, no, you got to blame veterans too, because veterans ain't doing their fucking part. I was like, some veterans, they get their 100% PNT and they don't give a shit about anything else. It was like, I got my money. I was like, yeah, I got my money too, but I still want to make sure other people get money. I want to make sure other people got health care. I want to make sure everybody else is taken care of. I was just like, the same mantra while being in service is just like, you are only as strong as your weakest link. In the military, we already know that saying. We've heard that before. You are only as strong as your weakest link. If my weakest link is another veteran that doesn't know about the resources it's doing, I'm not being a team member and I'm not assisting another veteran because I have the knowledge, but I'm not giving it to him. That's me being selfish. That's me being wrong. If I'm not educating another veteran when I should be educating another veteran, that's a whole different thing. You are only as strong as your weakest link. And we got too many weak links that are veterans right now that don't know what the fuck is going on. They don't know about these programs. They don't know about being able to get use the GI Bill, the VRE. Some of them have families. Some of them don't know that their dependents can get stuff and stuff like that. I was just like, and then you got people like this that come into the chat and want to say some dumb stuff. It was just like, because they're ignorant veterans. Like, clearly right now on TikTok, an ignorant veteran. That basically, because he's too big and bad, other veterans shouldn't get fucking assistance. And it was just like, we can tell who was a piece of shit in service and who was not. It's simple. A lot of veterans miss out on a lot of information, miss out on a lot of education, miss out on a bunch of stuff. But then you got dumbass veterans that make statements that is just like, oh, this is why we don't progress. Because you have people like you that just care for yourself and want to say, oh, I'm a patriot. Oh, I'm a battle buddy. So anybody you served with is basically you just giving them a fuck you. That's what you're doing. That's what it is. You basically giving any veteran that you know a fuck you because you don't want to assist them because, oh, you should cut this, you should cut that. It was just like the first ones. And the funny thing is I bet you 95% of the ones that are saying, oh, all these cuts need to happen, we should make sure that all these cuts are happening, are the same ones that don't even fucking know how to fucking file a disability claim or actually use the fucking system. I can assure you that. Most of the ones that don't know what the resources are, don't know how to help themselves are the first ones that are always like the VA is fucking trash. And it was just like, was like, people want to do it, that's fine. It was just like, you missing out on a whole bunch of shit, but just because you a piece of shit don't mean you got to make other people pieces of shit. It's like, there's enough pieces of shit out in this fucking world. You don't need to add to it. There's enough stupid people in this country. You don't need to add to it. You were one of the few that decided to serve this country, but we can tell how your service went and how it didn't when you're doing that. Appreciate you, my brother. As always, man. Love you, man. I was just like, people don't fucking understand that. People don't say that. The thing is most veterans will stay quiet and not say anything. And then the biggest issue is other veterans talking shit to other veterans. That's the biggest thing. I was just like, I'm talking shit to veterans because I want to educate you. Not because I'm better than you. Not because I served in a certain place or I deployed for this long or I did this or I was doing that. That shit matters nothing. Nothing when you're a veteran. Nobody comes up to you and asks, hey, where was your deployment at? Nobody comes up to you and be like, hey, how's your PTSD today? Nobody gives a fuck. So it's like us as veterans don't even take care of each other, but then you want outside people to take care of each other? Veterans right now say the shit that they do, but then when a person that never served in the military or a person that dodged the military, you want to be up in arms and defend them like crazy, like they know what the fuck they're talking about. But a person that served doesn't. You can't tell me that's possible. You can't tell me that you are trying to help people. When was the last time anybody come up to you and just be like, hey, how's your mental health? I know you a veteran. How's your mental health doing, bro? How you doing today? How you feeling, man? Life treating you okay? Life doing this? Notice how no fucking veterans come and get that answer. It's a quick thank you for your service. Now how you doing? But then you got people that never served, never dealt with it. It was just like, you can see the amount of fucking people on TikTok, on YouTube, mostly on TikTok, because you'll see people have like panels, and it's veterans. And some of them will just be talking about the shit that they went through. And for most people, they'll just be in fucking awe, like, what? This is what you experienced? Most people just think it's fucking a cakewalk. Some people went through some serious shit. Some people didn't. Some people did certain things that they weren't proud of, they're not happy of, and they can't forget. But at the same time, veterans will just start talking down to another veteran, just like, oh, well, I got 4 deployments and I don't got 100%. I was just like, well, if your dumbass didn't know how to fucking file a disability claims, whose fault is that? The VA? You gonna blame, you just gonna blame, it's crazy. It's just like, it's saying like, my battle buddy's at fault because I didn't take care of myself. You decided to drink the Kool-Aid, right? You drank the Kool-Aid the whole way. You were chugging the Kool-Aid, right? So then all of a sudden on the back end, when you don't got the Kool-Aid no more, all of a sudden it's your other buddy's fault that they were taking care of themselves while you weren't. How you clarify that? I was like, I bet you ain't the one checking on anybody afterwards, but then you mad because nobody check on you. But then you expect to have everything given to you. You think your VA healthcare is just going to be taken care of. You think you're just going to be able to walk in and walk out with an appointment. You couldn't fucking do that while you were serving, but all of a sudden outside of service is going to be even better. And all of a sudden you just lost the ability to fucking, when you called and you had the fucking the same fucking song that they've had on that fucking answering machine and that wait fucking time for fucking who knows how many fucking years. You've been listening to that shit through your whole active duty time and then afterwards, and then you surprised that you're hearing the same fucking song. Same fucking tune for who knows how fucking long. You heard that shit while in service, and now you hear that shit outside of service. Same fucking tune. And now all of a sudden you forgot what hurry up and wait was. It can't work like that. We got to be honest about it. It's just like, you can't just be like, oh, this is what's going on. It was just like, this is the situation. You got to pay attention to it. You got to learn from it. You got to educate yourself from it. But you can't be bashing somebody else because you don't educate yourself. It was just like, oh, you're a pogue. I was just like, okay. And let's go down the street and see which one of them knows which one of us is a veteran or not. Not a fucking person. Are they going to stop and ask? No, they ain't going to give a shit. They ain't going to give a shit about your 4 deployments to Afghanistan or Iraq. They don't give a shit that you lost somebody during that deployment. They don't give a shit that you got PTSD because of that deployment. They don't give a fuck about that shit. But then a person that could care and can actually relate to you and can actually understand you, you want to talk down on just because they didn't have your same experience. Like, I listen to some of these people talking and I'm just like, man, I didn't go through all that. Some of these people went through some rough shit. I didn't go through all that. But I'm not going to say, oh, the person below me was just like, oh, well, you didn't deploy like I did, so you don't deserve a rating. No, bruh. Mental health is mental health across the board. Most of the time, you didn't get mental health because fucking there wasn't even enough providers. And that's another thing when it comes to it. It's just like some of y'all think that going to the VA is an automatic appointment. It was just like y'all couldn't even get automatic appointments when you were fucking in service. If you were even being allowed to go to the fucking doctor, you couldn't get fucking service right away. And now all of a sudden you think it's going to work even faster in the outside world. It was just like, because you got so stuck and influenced and institutionalized with what the military did to you and how it treated you and how it brought you services for free without you having to pay, without you having any bills or anything like that. And now you on the outside part, you starting to realize like, oh shit, now I got to pay these bills. Now I go to the doctor, I got to pay for it. It's not I just go. And I bet you the appointments ain't fucking the next day. Most of the time you got, well, we ain't taking nobody new, or you got to wait a week or two to get this appointment. And it's just like, yeah, they're not seeing as many people. And especially because they're not seeing everybody that has the same issue. If you have back issues and you the only chiropractor at the VA, every one of us got back issues. That's a lot of fucking chiropractic to do. And you expect that shit that she's gonna just, he or she is gonna be doing that shit the next day? Or try to fit like 300 veterans in a day? No, it's not possible. I was like, people need breaks too. People work certain days of the week. People don't work every day of the week. It was like veterans just think that that shit is gonna happen every day. Like while you were in service, people didn't work every day of the fucking week. You had weekends off. Yeah, you might have been called in to do dumb shit every now and then, or you had staff duty, or you had CQ, but you got days off. You weren't working the same time. It's just like you can't. Veterans expect so much from the VA, but don't understand and don't realize it's just like that shit ain't realistic, bro. It's just not. It's not realistic to think that we're gonna be able to fix the VA just by fixing it. I was like, some people are complaining. Oh, just like, oh, some people just think throwing money at the thing is. Sometimes just throwing money works. But if we ain't got no money and we losing money, how we gonna throw the money? How we gonna help vets if we don't got the money to pay for vets? How we gonna help veteran care if I don't have the money to pay a doctor, which is gonna ask 3 to 4 times the amount of what's going on? How do you think we were gonna do it in the first place? You want to cut funding. You say you don't want to cut benefits, but then how do you cut 80,000 people and tell me it's not going to affect benefits? Because it's like, oh, they're still trying to get 300,000 essential or mission critical. I was just like, anything that has to do with fucking veterans should be mission fucking critical. Any job that you have should be mission critical if it's for veterans. Unless you just made a stupid ass department that does nothing at all, then yeah, get rid of the shit. But anything else with veteran affairs, I would consider that to be essential. Because if you mean to tell me that you have 80,000 non-essential people, where are these 80,000 non-essential people working at? What departments? What programs? Are they doctors? Are they nurses? Are they the secretaries that make your or that make and take your appointments? Stuff like that. It was just like the people at the check-in. Like who is it that's losing these jobs? Because that's all essential people. It was just like if you're the one that's making the appointments, you essential because you making sure people get appointments. I was just like, if you work in the facility, you must be doing something with the facility that's assisting veterans. I would consider that essential. Now, if you one of those that is just like drawing up like they saying it's like people drawing up PowerPoints. I was just like, you had to make a contract for somebody to draw up a PowerPoint and they don't even work there. Like the validity of some of the shit that these people have been saying is questionable because the people that have been reporting it have been seen and shown and fact checked and shown that they've been bullshitting. Elon and Doge have been bullshitting with a lot of the information they find. So it's just like, you telling me you're going to do this with the VA, but have no concrete plan. And we already see the track record that you're putting down with these changes. But like I said, we got veterans that are just like, oh yeah, we need to, this is good. This is good. We need to keep making cuts. We need to keep cut. This is like, and those are the people that need to be fired. But that's the thing. It's just like you making decisions, but you're not actually evaluating people. That hinders everything even more. If you're not actually evaluating the people that you are firing, it's a problem. Like that lady, there was this one lady that had that damn hearing. It was like a week ago or something. And all she did was she didn't want to say anything because the representative was asking like, hey, who did these cuts? Where did this memo come from? Did you even write this memo? And she was like, no, she didn't write the memo, but she signed it. And that was the memo that was being sent out telling people that they were going to get released. So she didn't even write the fucking thing, but she's in charge of it. And she didn't have the balls to say who it was that told her to fire people. But then there's nothing in there that says that you were evaluated and your performance was the reason that you lost your job. Because if you were to tell me that you got rid of those 2,400 people and these were the worst performers you had, I got no problem with cuts. But when you tell me that 2,400 people have been fired, and then out of those 2,400 people, damn near all of them were probationary workers. So I understand you probationary, you might be bad. You might be bad at your job. It's understandable. But when you tell me and you keep hearing the stories of people being fired, even though they were promoted. Yeah, it's a breakdown. Like if you notice, like it's looking at, because I pulled that up once. I gotta remember where I put it. I can't remember. I brought the file. I was looking into it, and you start looking at the departments within the VA. Start looking at the different levels, because there's the director. Then you got the different entities. So it could be like human resources, like budgeting, stuff like that, and you have that. All of those then have a director. Then from those, they bring it down and put it to more sections. Another director. And it's just like, so you just gave me like 8 different directors for something that you can have one main director and then have consolidated groups that cover the same shit. But no, you decided to make a whole different office and then put another director on top of it. So literally you have a director for the director that takes care of another director. Why? That's waste. But those ain't the people getting fired, which they shouldn't get fired. But if you're going to make it more efficient, that means some of these people may have to get let go. But these people aren't the ones being fired. If their evaluation says they're good to go, you keep them. But if it says, hey, these people have been underperforming, or this department or this office has been underperforming, those are the people you get rid of. Not the probationary people that have been working. That's the same thing with like how it is in active duty service. Like, you give, instead of UCMJ being able to give the punishment across the board to everybody, you mean to tell me that the lower enlisted that has been in less gets a heavier consequence than somebody that should have known better while they had been serving for longer? There's no accountability. That's what it boils down to. No accountability. There's no accountability when veterans deal with the VA. There's no accountability when Doge is dealing with the VA. There's no accountability with any of these administrations that we've had, whether it was Biden, Obama, the first Trump, Trump again. There's no accountability. But when you have voices and other people saying like, "Oh, these people are wrong. This is what we need to be doing. This, and that," and you have more veterans that tie into it, and it's just like you haven't thought about what you are actually signing up for or agreeing to. It was just like this isn't like our enlistment where you knew what the fuck you were doing. I was like, this is something that you don't even get to voice if you want to do or not. This is something that you are joining into, that you are a veteran no matter what. If you don't want the resources, that's cool. Don't fucking use them. But don't bash other veterans that may need them. Plain and simple. If you can't do your disability claim, don't get mad at another veteran that actually seeked help or found information or did research. If you want faster care, you got to make sure that you are calling your representative. You're calling your representation. Let them know like, hey, this fucking VA fucking sucks. We need assistance doing it. Shit, I just seen one of the representatives in Florida is pushing legislation to make another facility in her district because her district has a high number of veterans. But what do you want? The easy button is like, oh, let's just blame the fucking administration. Let's just blame the VA. I was like, no, you can't do that. You have to make sure that it's being taken care of at the state level. Your state is the one that pushes the information. Your state is the one that's saying, yo, I got too many vets here that are hurting right now. I need some more funding or something. Then you communicate that to the VA secretary, and then you start making moves because then it's just like, hey, look, you got these congressmen and women calling me over here, talk about y'all need more people or y'all need more budgeting or y'all need this. And it's just like, that's how you make changes. But talking shit to another veteran ain't changing that. That's not helping anything. It's just like, and people don't understand it and don't talk about it. It's just like, the shit has to be said and the shit has to be put out for people to understand it because it's like too much shit that goes unchecked. That's how we got to where the fuck we got to. But if you ain't checking your own damn facility, you ain't checking your own location, you ain't checking your own people, it was just like that's a problem. If we can't assist or talk, like if you are gonna go to a location and you are going to bash that location but have no fucking solutions for it, what the fuck are you really doing? Just like, do I have solutions? I always got solutions to things I bring up. Some people don't understand that. Some people don't go through it. Some people don't look at it. It's just like, yeah, I got suggestions for a bunch of the stuff. Now the thing is will people listen to it? Is it a great idea? Not always, but it's something. It's something to make progress. But some people don't look at it that way. They rather just see the shit burn like, oh, us making sure that the VA doesn't have the resources it has or the people it need, that's going to make it better. Kind of dumbass, backwards ass thinking is that? Like, if we cut all this funding and we cut these hires and stuff like that, it'll make the VA better because we're starting it from scratch. I was just like, that means you got to relearn and redo shit that was already in place that you could have just actually fixed up and made more efficient than actually just fucking clearing the whole fucking thing out. If you got a car and you, like I said, I like using cars as an example. The VA is a car right now. Right now, shit needs some upgrades. Might need some new brake pads. Might need some new brakes. The rims is starting to fucking rust over. Might need some new tires. Shit, it needs some coolant fluid. You know what? You might need an oil change. That's fine. Just because it needs that, you're not going to throw out the whole fucking car and get a new one. What? Who does that? Who just says, you know what? Throw this shit away. I'm going to get a new one. When it's just simple fixes that can be done to help alleviate it. Like, yes, do we need cuts? We do need cuts. We need efficient cuts. We need performance evaluated cuts. We need to know that the people we are firing are the people that need to be fired. Not we're just firing people because they just fell under this category. That doesn't help the situation. We're not getting nowhere. It's not going to fix anything. You're not going to tell me that we're going to do better with less people. It was like certain things, you need more. Certain things you need more of. Certain things you don't. Certain things you cut. Certain things you don't. But you can't tell me just making cuts indiscriminately is gonna fix the situation. That's not gonna work. It's not gonna work. You're not gonna change all this stuff and then have more people be excited about the fact that it's just like, oh, they're actually doing stuff to change the VA. What are they doing? Because it's like if you're telling me you hiring people to 60,000 people got hired because of the PACT Act, because of all the extra claims and all this stuff. We made more people and we got more people. That sounds to me like you're trying to help more veterans. But now you're trying to cut that back. And like I said, people fail to realize that there's about 19 million veterans out and about right now, alive. Only about 8 million use the system. So let's say as they continue with like the PACT Act and they continue with all this stuff, they start adding more presumptive issues or they start identifying more things that can go wrong with people. That's going to lead to more people filing disability claims, leading to a bigger backlog because you're going to have less people being able to take care of it. How is that making it more efficient? I was just like, just because you have those, like I said, 4 jobs that becomes that one job, doesn't mean it's going to become more efficient because now it's only one person doing 4 people's jobs. It could be more efficient because that one worker may be amazing. But you're going to burn that person out trying to do 4 times the work when you had other people to do it. And you have these services like when you got the vocational rehabilitation counselors, because they still hold the old name, but it's the Veteran Readiness and Employment Program. Same shit. But you're cutting counselors in certain offices. Certain locations are getting more cuts than others. So it's not like it's a major fact. It's a major factor that it's not proportion where they're doing this at. It's certain locations, and then you stop the funding for purchases. It's just like all these things is just randomly done. It was just like, how does this help veterans out? And the other part being that it's just like veterans can't even explain that. So the ones that are always like, oh, they should fix it. Oh, they should do it. This is just like, explain to me why. Explain to me your rationale as to how these cuts and all these things are actually going to benefit veterans. And they never got an answer. And that's what I find interesting. It was just like, why get rid of anything in the VA? It was just like, why get rid of anything? Like I said, anything that is redundant, that is actually a waste, I understand. I understand you eliminating that stuff. I understand it fully. But you cannot tell me you want to eliminate stuff that you have no idea what the fuck you're eliminating. You don't even know the number of people that actually use those services before you eliminated a program. Like, so it's just like how does that work? Most people don't understand that. That's stuff that is just like it's simple informations. It's stuff that happens, but people don't talk about it. People don't resort to it because they just think it's easier to. The easy button is not talking about the shit or not caring or saying, you know what, it don't affect me. I don't give a shit what the fuck they do. It's just like these are things that are ongoing and will continue to be ongoing if we just leave them unchecked. The reason some of these people have been like, yo, we gotta cut back, we might not do these cuts, is just like I said, with the podcast. I said it was just like with these cuts, it was just like the the Secretary Doug Collins was not planning to tell us that they were cutting 80,000 jobs. They were not planning to tell veterans that. That was not something that was supposed to come out. That was a document that got leaked. So somebody in the VA saw that and decided, you know what? I'm going to leak this memorandum so that it's visible to people in the outside that they're planning to cut 80,000 more jobs. They weren't going to tell us. They were just going to keep chopping till somebody decided to say, you know what? That's a lot. Or I think that's enough. I was just like, I don't think that should have been cut. I was just like, why are there less people working here? I was just like, you can go to every VA and see if they are fully staffed. And I bet you, and I promise you, they're going to say they're not fully staffed. They are understaffed. Most VA places are understaffed. If you are lucky enough, you may have a VA clinic. If funding goes away from that, you just lost what? Maybe possibly a VA clinic. Because they're going to be like, oh, we didn't have the money to do it. We didn't have the people working. And it's just like, I don't have an answer for that one. Question is, why do they keep targeting people who either fought or are willing to fight for their country? I don't know. And that's a good question. I don't know the answer to that. Because the thing is the people, some of the people that are making these decisions never served. So that's what baffles me even more. Like, you have the committees, you got the Senate committee, and you got the House committee. You do have some veterans within those committees. But then some of these people never served. So it's kind of hard for these people to be able to tell me, just like, we're going to do this. We love our veterans. But then you heard what the lawyer of Trump's lawyer said about veterans. It's just like, some of them are lazy or some of them just don't work. Or she said, I don't want to paraphrase it, but it was something along the lines that she was talking shit about veterans and not being able to work or not wanting to work. And I'm like, this is who you got saying this shit? Saying that veterans don't want to work and stuff like that, but then you firing most of the people that do that. I was like, you say you're going to take care of them, but you make cuts in these positions. You make cuts in these locations. It's just like, if you are making cuts to anything that benefits veterans, you're not helping veterans. It's just that most people don't understand that. Most people never served. And then it's that thought process when you have these dumbass congressmen and representatives that never served, that want to talk shit and want to downplay what veterans can be going through. I was like, veterans deal with the fact that they got to go through a disability claim to file something that the military knows they fucking did to you. And it's just like, people want to act all shocked and surprised. It was like, don't act shocked and surprised. It's just like, this is something that has been shown drastically over the years. Over the years, the VA has gotten better. But that's because they started putting more money into it. Not because it was just more efficient. Not because they did this. It was just like, no, they put more money into it because they knew programs were needed for veterans. Assistance was needed for veterans. It's just like, hey, how can we do this? Yeah. It was just like, people don't understand that. People don't understand that these changes under these administrations have benefited them. The thing is the only thing is that they have a problem because it's just like, it doesn't fulfill their policies. I was just like, if it doesn't fulfill your fucking policies, come up with new ones. And then you always have people. Yeah, and it was just like, look at like, the fact that people. The thing is that most of these people tend to forget what the fuck just happened. It was like, you had John McCain, which was a prisoner of war, that served this country and was a prisoner of war, became a senator, and then you had him talking shit about said senator. And all of a sudden, that just like flew over all these people's heads. It was just like, there hasn't been anything like, the PACT Act was introduced during a Democratic thing. That's why I said I don't like making it for both. It was just like, I don't like making it a political talk, but then the thing is it ends up filtrating into political realms, because the thing is those are the people that are making these changes. Those are the people that are making these bills or pushing these bills. They push them in certain times and then they push them in other moments. It was just like, if the VA was doing so bad, why would they bother to come up with the PACT Act? No, they knew veterans are hurting. They knew veterans are having issues. So it was just like, we got to put money into the people that served this country. The ones that wanted to decide to volunteer to serve this country, we need to take care of them. Not, let's make shit tougher for them. Let's lessen the amount of time, or let's lengthen the time that it takes for them to get benefits. Let's make it seem like the VA is so inefficient when the VA is only inefficient in certain places. Like I said, most veterans you talk to, they got no problem with the VA. There are some congressmen and women that are veterans, and they do fight for veteran stuff. If like, these people make sure stuff is being processed, being pushed, it was just like, the VA works for whoever uses it the way it's supposed to be used. You start expecting shit, it didn't work. In service, when you started expecting shit and shit didn't go right, what did you do? You ended up completing the fucking mission regardless. Even though it wasn't what you expected, you got the shit done. It's like people. I was just like, it's just the issue, man. It's just like, like I said, I wanna start asking these people, all these veterans that say the VA sucks. It was like, what state are you from? Oh yeah, it's only beneficial during the election year. During the election year, it's always the same thing. Because the thing is the biggest thing that we got a lot of dumbass veterans that were swindled by was, hey, they're gonna try to take your weapons away, which is the same talking point that has been the same talking point for the past like 50 damn years when it comes to this whole divide. It's just like, they've been saying the same thing. But what did veterans go off of? It's just like, you know what? Democrats is going to take my weapons. But if you notice, Republicans have never pushed forward anything that has actually benefited veterans to a undoubtedly great place. Because all this stuff was done during the Democratic presidency, and it was done by a Democratic representative. Representative Takano from California, which was introduced and sponsored the PACT Act, putting that stuff in there. And then what did Republicans say while that was happening? Oh, there's too much fluff in here. There's too much extra stuff and this stuff like that. And it's just like, wow. It was just like, so y'all for veterans, but y'all say it's worth fluff. But when it comes to making cuts to other things, basically the things you don't like or the things you don't support, it's easy for y'all to say, oh, it's a waste of money. But when it's something y'all support that could be dumb as shit, oh yeah, that's a great investment in money. It was like, look, we investing so much in Elon Musk and going to Mars when we got issues in this fucking country we can't fucking fix. But we'll throw a couple of billion at them just to get us to Mars. But then we ain't gonna throw it to the fucking veterans to help them. But it's just like, there's all these programs and all this stuff. Like, I do these, and most of the time it's like, look, it's a workshop. I haven't done much of the workshop these past couple of days because, like I said, I don't know what the fuck is changing. I don't know what the fuck is going on. I don't know what the fuck is going on. This is one point where it's just like, I've been doing this for like what, going on 2 years, 2+ years. I've been doing this with the workshops where it's just like, hey, I can pick a topic and I know how to go through it and then stuff like that. But now it's just like, hey, I just went over benefits for everybody and I don't even know what is going to stick around and what's going to change. What's the thought process? How long is it going to go? But you got all these things that could be done to fix it, but people act like they don't know what the fuck is going on. You got people that have never served in the military making decisions for the military. I appreciate that, Deja. It's just like people don't understand that. It's just like it has to be said. And it was just like, that's why I know, look, I know with the past couple of The past couple of podcast episodes when I've gone and I've said the shit I have against Republicans or against veterans that are Republicans and they voted this way and they want to act surprised now. It was just like I've lost a bunch of subscribers. I've lost a bunch of subscribers. I'm okay with that. I don't give a shit because if you wanted to be ignorant and you wanted to be dumb, that was your choosing. Now you could have educated yourself and start moving in a positive thing. You got to do that, but most people don't. Most people just want to keep it quiet and don't want to say shit about it. It's just like, hey, you fucked up, admit to it, man up, or woman up. You fucked up, cool. How do we fix this? How do we work to get this better? How do we actually make the VA better for you? What helps you with the VA? Is it because your disability claim got denied and the VA sucks because of that? Because you didn't know what you were doing? Is it because the doctor was 4 hours away because that was the only doctor that could see you? Like, what are the reasons? Because it's just like, if you went to the VA one time and that was the worst experience you had, I understand not going back. I understand that. But there's changes that can be made. There's things that can be said. You can call somebody. You can notify somebody. You can go to your representative and be like, look, man, our place is hurting. We need more help here. Then that senator can go and talk to the VA secretary. It's like, look, man, my constituents is calling me all the time saying that the VA over here in wherever the fuck land is bad. They're hurting on people. Is there any way you can send more people to hire more people at this location? Or put more job postings in this location? Or allocate more openings that we can allow to get more jobs in this location? It's simple as doing that, but what do you rather do? People just rather sit on their ass and not say anything and stay quiet about it. And it's just like, I'm tired of this shit. I was just like this. I was talking to there was a we had a little thing here, and it was just like it was a couple of service members that showed up on their bikes. And as soon as they pulled up, I was like, "You in the military, ain't you?" They was like, "It was the mustache, Sean." It was just like, I can smell y'all from a mile away. Then it was just like, I was like, "You staying in or you planning to get out?" Nah, man, I'm getting out. This is my only one. It's just like, man, it's just like that's the thing I hear from anybody I ask is like, I'm getting out. But those people getting out don't know what the fuck is going on. I had to explain to him about using a VRE program and then using his GI Bill. He was like, I didn't even know what the VRE was. I was like, most veterans fucking don't. Most veterans don't know until they done use their whole GI Bill and then somebody ran into it. They were just like, oh, this is how I pay for school. How is that helping? How, if we're not educating our veterans, how does it help? If we downplaying what our veterans do, how does that help? We got to keep on educating people, and then don't even start. That's the thing that I find crazy. You got to hire, like, now that you mentioned that with the hiring freeze and that was like, you don't want to hire people, you want to fire more people, but then you supposedly keeping or trying to get mission essential people. Which one the fuck is it? I was like, how you just gave me 3 scenarios? You already got rid of people. You want to get more people, but then you want to cut some more people. Like, and what are people saying? Oh, well, the VA sucked already, so can't get any worse. Yes, the fuck it can. Yes, the fuck it can. This is not gonna make you better. Or maybe, hey, it does make you better. But how long? Because if we're just gonna keep on cutting these jobs, it's like, that's a great statement. They don't pay taxes, but they want to blame the government. Isn't that fucking crazy? They don't want to pay the taxes, but they blame the government for everything. Cool. Hey, I don't know. That's why it's like it makes it difficult because it's just like, hey, trying to educate veterans is not simple. I was like, there's a lot of resources out here. Shit, there's resources I don't even fucking know of yet, and they're available. I'm still trying to learn myself. It was just like I teach y'all what I can learn or what I see or what I find. So it's just like, hey, if you didn't know about this and you know somebody else that served, shoot them, either shoot them my way or give them that information so that way they can educate somebody or they can learn about it. But Yeah, the VA hasn't even been. The VA got it got his redistribution of. The VA got its redistribution of being the Veterans Benefits Administration, the Veterans Health Administration, and then the cemetery. It got switched into those three departments, and that was like thinking like 1953, I think, or something like that. Because it says like if you go to the page, if you can find it, the history of it, it'll explain that to you that they got merged and it became that. They were different entities at first. But you got to remember, for some, it was just like you had veterans that had to like protest because they weren't getting what they were told they were going to get when they came back from war, from World War II. So they had to create these departments. But then at the same time, a lot of these people had these programs. And the thing is, it's just like, hey, they know that these programs benefit certain people. If you were a vet at any point, all these services can benefit you. These are services that are not available to a civilian person. This isn't available to everybody. A VA home loan where you don't have to put a down payment on is a veteran exclusive thing. I don't know of any other program that says, you know what, you want to buy a house, don't worry about a down payment. Now imagine looking at it like that, and then possibly be like, well, now vets, y'all gonna have to pay something out of pocket. Imagine that happen. I'm not saying that is happening, but it's a possibility. I was like, look, man, we spending too much money guaranteeing all these contracts. We need them to put a down payment on. We don't know if that can happen, but that's a possibility. That's something that could happen. But it's just like, look at that. That's the VA loan. Most veterans don't use the VA loan. Most people don't know that they can use it multiple times. Most people don't know that you as a veteran have the VA loan for the rest of your life. Some people just think it's a one and done thing. It was like, no, if you want to get into real estate and you got the money for it, you can get into real estate and make yourself some good money, some passive income besides your disability that you get, and then have another job on top. Most people don't know that. Most people just is like, oh, I got the GI Bill, I'm using the GI Bill. I was like, well, you know, you can buy a home and then have the GI Bill help you pay for your loan while you're in school. And then they'd be like, oh shit, I didn't even think about doing it that way. That's a simple. That's something super simple that most people. That means you at least got 3 years because you got 36 months worth of VA benefits for the GI Bill. That's 36 months. That's 3 years of payments that you ain't even gotta pay. Which means that 3-year payments that you can double up on what you're paying your home loan on and finish off your loan faster than that 30 years you thought. Now instead of paying it off in 30 years, you might be down to like, you doubled up for 3 years. Shit, that's 6 years worth of payments. You just advanced yourself, and that's something that isn't afforded to civilians. I appreciate that, Debachi. It's just passing the information. It's just like, it's simple stuff. It's simple information and simple things that it's just that a lot of veterans don't understand and don't know. And I was like, you have to educate them on them. Thing is those some can't be educated, and it's unfortunate. Some can't be educated. Some don't learn. Some don't pay attention to the stuff. So it's just like some of these things happen, and it's just like, you know what? I got no control over this person, but I'm not going crazy to try to fix it for him either. But the information is there. The benefits are there. The resources are there. Most of the shit is like, a lot of the stuff comes from people's actual states that give them extra benefits on top of the federal benefits. People just don't know. People don't know about using a VSO. People don't know about the CFR. People don't know about all these different things. And it's just like, the CFR has been up there the whole time. And it's just like, most people look at that and they probably tune in and be like, yo, what the hell is this? What is dude talking about? I was like, I see he has Veterans Workshop on here, the Veteran Awareness Project. I was like, what the fuck is this guy actually talking about? I was just like, all these previous lives is basically all information just to teach people, just to show them like, hey, use your VA loan, use the VRE, use, like, you got so many other programs that are like within the VA that most people just don't know about. You got like whole health, situations that people could do that. People using like grants and stuff like that. I was just like, yeah, see, and you got people, and then you got people that don't use those resources. It's like, look, right now it's hard as hell to buy a house because the prices on houses is extraordinary. But with a VA loan, you ain't putting down a down payment. So literally that maybe $30,000 or $40,000 you needed to put down, you could just put that into actually fixing up the home and then increasing the value of the home while you're doing that with the VA loan. As compared to going through the traditional way where you would have to pay that $40,000 down. But people, it's just like people don't use that because they don't know about it, or they not interested, or they never got enough knowledge on it that they're like, you know what? I'm not sure if I could do this. I'm not sure if I want to do this. I'm not sure if I want to decide, you know what? I want to sign up for this. You know what? I think it's time for me to buy a house. And most people are like, oh, okay, it's time to buy a house. I don't know where to go. I didn't know the VA loan assisted with this. I didn't know there was companies and lenders that worked with the VA to make sure that the VA loan goes through there. And hey, most people don't know that there's the electric efficiency mortgage, which is basically a clause within the VA loan, which allows you almost up to $6,000 worth of energy efficient repairs done to the house when you're purchasing it that doesn't have to come out of pocket straight. It's something that you can use and it just happens and it gets put onto the loan amount. I bought my house. I redid all the windows. I redid all the windows. So basically it's called the energy efficient mortgage. And that's something that's through the VA loan. So what it does is if it's something that's a fix between like $300 and less, if it's $300 and less, but you have to do it when you're purchasing the home. So it's something that happens when you're purchasing the loan, not after. Not to mention no primary mortgage insurance like you would have on a chance. Yeah. How do you go from being helpful to vets to crazy TDSO? This guy over here. It was just like, bro, because that's what I'm doing. It's just like, look, I do this every Sunday. This is what I started doing. This is what I've always been doing. I've been a veteran. I've been assisting veterans since day one. I still assist service members that are in that I served with, and I help them on their way out. I just had a buddy of mine. I just had a buddy of mine that basically just had a daughter, and I got both of them to 100% P&T. They just had a daughter. I served with them. I was in charge of them. They helped me out. One was S1, another one was a ammo dog, and I helped them out. And they did that, and it's just helping. It was just like I said, Miguel. What I say is like I said, when I do these workshops, there's no such thing as you're Republican, Democrat. I don't care. You're a veteran. I want to assist a veteran. When it's outside of this shit, then yeah, I'ma speak there. I'ma speak my mind because some shit just has to be said. And some things people just don't have the ability to say. And some people don't have the ability to think that way. Not trying to say dumb or stupid, because I do call people dumb and stupid on these lives plenty of times. Don't get me wrong. I'm going to call you out if you're a fucking idiot. But at the same time, there's a difference between stupidity and not knowing. You don't know what you don't know. You don't know what you don't know. If you don't know how to use the VA loan, you don't know. If you don't know that it has the electricity efficient mortgage, that means that you could have basically gotten at least $6,000 worth of fixes to your home, and it just gets put on top of the loan. You don't even have to pay out of pocket for it. So literally, you didn't have to pay out of pocket for a down payment, and then you didn't have to do it to put in new windows. Yeah, and you can refinance on a VA loan too. The thing is like you don't have to. If you want to, you can use like that's how people get into real estate when they are service members or veterans. They purchase a home through the VA loan. There's no down payment. So let's say you did save those 40, 50,000 on payment. You can keep that saved. You use the VA loan, you purchase it. It depends if you're refinancing, because the thing is a lot of the places they have like the VA refinancing, and they always tend to they have a lower interest rate than what the current interest rate is. So it's basically you have that interest rate. Like right now, interest rate is like what, 7, 8, close to damn 9. Yeah, and the VA don't let you do that. No, the VA, when they do it, they don't allow you to refinance it knowing that you're gonna be in the hole. Because the thing is the VA is backing that loan. So if you default, it's basically the VA saying, we're going to cover it. They don't want to cover that shit. They want to give you the opportunity to use it, but they don't want to cover it. They don't want you to cover that stuff. So that's something that people don't understand. It's just like you can refinance it, but at the same time, if you refinance it to a regular one, let's say you bought it a couple of years ago when it was easier. Yeah, the VA is gonna make you work for it. It's not it's stuff like that. It's just like, yeah, people don't know that, because the thing is, if you do a regular refinance, you can do a regular refinance. You're gonna get a higher interest rate, but then if you choose to, you can go and buy another home. Because with the VA, is basically if you are buying, you can buy a multi-house home, so it could be like 4 different apartments. You just got to live in one of them. Have to live in one of them for a year, but literally you are paying the mortgage for basically a 4 apartment complex. You live in one of them, and you got the other 3 people paying down the mortgage, and you still living in there. The student loan forgiveness is automatic, but I suggest not allowing it to happen. So once you get to 100% P&T, you are automatically your loans are basically forgiven. What I tell people is like, go through the process of actually understanding, are you going to continue to go to school, or are you not going to go to school? Because what happens is that you get that, it's like almost instant. I wouldn't say it's instant, but once you get 100% P&T, you notify, I think it's like Nelnet or something like that. It's one of the providers. They'll have that information, and they'll look it up and they'll be like, oh, okay, this person is now permanently and totally disabled. We are going to forgive these loans. What I tell people is if you, yeah, Nelnet. I knew it was somewhere around there. It was just like, if you are still planning to go to school, you would still be able to go to any school, take out loans, finish school, and then have it that your loans are then forgiven, and then use your GI Bill, and then use the VRE program. But people don't think about it that way. People just think of it just like, oh, my student loans is done with. That's cool. Fine. You don't want the student loans? Don't get rid of them. Cool. But if you're planning to go to school, you can go to school. Just go to, no, I'm not saying use the VRE. I'm saying just go to the school and pay for it. Take out those loans and all that stuff. They are going to remove your loans, because once you have your loans removed that first time, you cannot have it done again. So literally you can extend your capabilities of learning, but like the difference is that with that one, you would have to pay out of pocket. If you use the VRE, they'll do it that way. You'll get it paid that way. Yeah, I'm basically saying delay your forgiveness if you're planning to do that and you're planning to pay for school, because then you defer that, you go to school. Like, let's say you get your bachelor's by doing that, took all school loans, and after you're done with your bachelor's, you now use the school loan forgiveness, right? So now you ain't got no school loans, but you got your bachelor's. Now you still got the VRE program. The VRE program, you can go for your master's. Then you can use your GI Bill to get a PhD, or you can get another master's, or you can get another bachelor's. Depending on what it is, it's just like, appreciate you. I was just like, depending on how it is and how you go about it, those are things that people don't realize they can do. I was just like, it's the system how it is. I've been advising older veterans to go geriatric teams for care. It's just that people need to understand that it's just like a lot of the stuff going on is just like people have to pay attention to. They just don't know about it. A lot of this info is all of this everything that I'm saying is free. It's available, but most people don't know where to find it. People don't know to get that advice. People don't know to go to certain things or ask for certain things. People don't go and say, you know what? I need better healthcare. This is terrible. this is actually not working. Hey, my doctor fucking sucks. Nobody reports that shit. Most people just be like, yo, the VA sucks, instead of going and filling out a complaint or messages, because they send you those surveys. I understand that. I understand that fully when it comes to the older generations. They're not used to it. They don't know this information. They don't find it. Because the thing is like you said, technology is a barrier for some of them. It's just like they ain't have cell phones. Most people know how to navigate a cell phone, but even on a cell phone, that little thing trying to look up all these different, it's just like, man, you gonna chuck your phone. I got overwhelmed, and I'm looking at this shit on a big screen on a damn computer, and I'm still like, yo, what the fuck? Where am I looking for this? But it's just like, I'll show y'all, I'll break it down and be like, hey, look, this is the link, this is the website, this is how I got here, this is what you click on, and I do it that way. So it's easier on YouTube because I could do it. Sometimes I stream it off my other computer to TikTok, which allows me to show the paperwork and stuff like that. But it's just like, you have to, yeah. Anything that you have with the VA, you have to keep a record of. Especially now with all these upcoming changes and all that, every veteran should be asking for their files. Everybody should be requesting it. If you're working on getting to 100% PNT, you should be requesting anything that has to do with the VA should be started and requested day one, like now. Because the thing is who the hell knows if they decide, you know what? This record keeping fucking thing is abuse or waste or fraud. We're going to implement a new fucking system, which we think is more efficient. What's going to happen? Oh, half of your shit is going to be deleted. Half of the shit didn't transfer over. They can't find your shit anymore. And then all of a sudden it's just like, bam. Now you shit out of luck. Don't have none of your paperwork because you didn't choose to get that stuff. Get all your shit you can now. Whatever you can get a document of showing what you did, what you're going through, do it. And just do it that way. It's just like all this stuff is there. There's too many changes that are coming that we don't know. I was like, look, like I said, them 80,000 people being dismissed, that shit was not coming out to the public. That was not coming out to the public. That was somebody that decided to leak that document, that got that document, decided to print it out and push it out and give it to a news outlet. And that news outlet ran with it and posted it, ran with it, made some noise about it. And then all these other veterans started hearing about it. They're just like, bro, another 80,000? I was just like, 2,400. I was just like, all right, but 80,000? And y'all weren't going to tell us this? You were just going to you're going to keep on chopping at the wood and not even say anything. You just gonna continue to do that, and people just like, oh, it's gonna affect you. It don't matter what offices it is. It don't matter where the layoffs go to. It's gonna affect veterans. Maybe not a higher percentage or a smaller percentage, but it depends on how those cuts go. Because they're saying they're gonna come to a certain office or it's gonna be a certain thing. We've heard that before in the past couple of weeks. Oh, these places ain't getting affected. Oh, these people lost their jobs. I was like, oh shit. I thought they weren't gonna lose their jobs. Oh well, they're losing their jobs anyway. So it's just like right now, there's no concrete evidence for none of this shit. Yeah, I know. They didn't expect it. They didn't expect so many people to be paying attention to it, but at the same time, they weren't expecting that document to leak out. Because once that came out, and that was like maybe like what, 4 or 5 days ago, man, you started seeing veterans coming on here like, hey man, we're planning to do some march, or we're planning to do some like protesting. We're calling our representatives, this and that. It was just like, oh, now y'all up in uproar because y'all see what the fuck is happening. Because y'all know that if you've been waiting a year for something to happen, you're going to be waiting a bit more. That process, that fully, like, it's not going to matter if you say, oh, I submitted a fully developed claim. They ain't going to give a shit. They ain't going to have people to process it any faster. They know it's fully developed. They know you have everything in it. And it's still going to take just as long as if you didn't have everything fully developed. What's the point of saying it's a fully developed claim? There isn't. It's just the insinuation that that's what's going to happen so that people, feel better about the process. The thing is, it's just like, information is flowing a lot faster than it was, and that's why I don't like the whole Secretary Doug Collins thing. Because the thing is this dude comes out. It was just like he came out with a video as soon as that shit happened. As soon as that shit happened and it leaked, it was just like, I need to do damage control and be like, no, we're not gonna get rid of all these services and this and that. Nah, bro, we know you are going to cut services. You just need to put it out there so that veterans see your face and you can try to assure them, oh, this is not what's going to happen. I was just like, you yourself don't know what these cuts are going to affect or how they're going to affect people or how they're going to affect veterans. But you can assure veterans that nothing is going to happen. It's only going to get better. I was like, well, if y'all saying it has to get worse before it gets better, how long is the worst process? How long is that worst time frame? Is it a year? Is it 2 years? Is it, yeah, we're cutting 80,000 by August. But then in August, we decide, you know what? There's still too much money going into here. We need to make another round of cuts. Because that's what they did already. The first round of cuts was 1,000. Then the second round of cuts was 1,400. What's this next batch going to be? Just a straight up like 15,000 just gone? Because you need to get 80,000 people in a matter of what? 5 months? In 5 months, a lot of these processes and a lot of these claims are not going to be taken care of. They're not going to be finished. They're not going to be coordinated. They wanted to gloat. And that's the other problem with this Collins dude. It was just like, the fact that you already trying to bullshit veterans already rubbed me on the wrong side. Because the first video I saw of this dude was when he said, oh, we've processed a million, what was he said? We processed a million claims already. We've already processed a million claims. This is the fastest it's ever been done. And then you tried to take credit for it. Once I saw that, I was just like, this dude is going to be fucking full of shit. Because you were trying to take credit. This administration is trying to take credit to say, oh, we processed a million disability claims. This is the fastest it's ever been done. Mind you, Doug Collins has only been in office for less than a fucking month. So you had nothing to do with these changes. You had nothing to do with this processing. But you're going to claim it as you made sure this happened. No, the fiscal year started on October 1st. So from October 1st till now, whatever's been processed, y'all have only processed anything from January 20th going forward that you can count as you did this. I was like, if you can't explain that, it's just like, you're going to try to take and get recognition for something that you didn't really do. So once they started off with that talk, I was just like, all right, this dude is just going to be a yes man and he's just going to bullshit people and he's just going to go on YouTube, make a video, lie to veterans, and most veterans are not going to take the thought process to actually fucking dissect what it is that this man is saying. Because if you're going to say that you've processed a million things already, that means that you would have processed stuff from whenever you took over till now, you did a million claims. But the thing is what is so great about processing claims? Because the thing is that means they processed them. Not that they finished them. Not that they completed them. It's literally, we got a million more claims. I got a million more claims. How many of those have been approved already? How many of those have been denied? How many of those already got their CMP scheduled? What step are they on in those claims? I was like, that's what's more important than actually done. Because it's just like, it could be, you could have processed it, you could have received it, and then next thing you know, that person is now going through a supplemental claim, or they're doing a higher level review, or they're going to a board because of the fact that the shit wasn't done correctly. It was processed. If you're rushing people to do it, that's there. If a person is consistently fucking up disability claims, that's who needs to be fired. Not the person that just happened to be in the probationary period. Because most of the time, last I checked, if anybody's in a probationary period, they're gonna try to work their hardest to make sure that they are doing their best so that they don't get fired. I don't think there's ever gonna be a probationary period or somebody that's on a probationary period for work and they're gonna work their worst, knowing that they're gonna get fired. Because once you pass that 2-year mark, it's just like, oh, my job is safe. Then they might become a shitbag after that. But ain't nobody gonna try to be a shitbag knowing that they might lose their job if they're not doing their job. Like, that shit don't make sense to me. Yeah, and then there's also those people that got promoted. So you got people that got promoted that got fired. How you gonna tell me I was doing such a great job that I got promoted to a new position, but since that fell under a probationary period, you got me fired? And it's not like it's onesies and twosies. It's for like a lot of people that went through this process. So it's like you can't tell me that this is the way of doing it. It's just like you can't fix this. So it's just like you want to take advantage of people by saying and doing these things that you know are false, but most people don't look into it. Most people don't. Everybody's just taking this shit at face value. Face value said they processed 1 million, so everybody was just like, "Oh man, this administration is doing great, bro. Y'all only been in there for a month plus. Y'all didn't do all of these in a month plus. How many did y'all do since you took over? Is the better question. All right, Collins, tell me how many have you processed since you became the VA secretary? How many have been processed? That's the number you should be using, not a number from part of the previous administration to try to make your shit look better. Oh, it's just like they want to be. It's not only that people just want to be given the information. It's just like some people just want the stuff, but at the same time, it's just like some of these same older generations and older people take advantage of these same benefits. But you can't blame the newer generation because that's what it is with every generation. It's always built that way. Every generation prior to the other one says that the newer generation is worse off, no matter what fucking generation you talk to. Each generation in this country somehow just happens to get lazier. Same thing while in the military. Each generation keeps having to get worse. I was just like, and it's just like, it confuses me because it's just like, yeah, everybody always says that, but then the thing is you were the one that influenced the new generation. So you don't take no accountability for what you created and what you did, but then you want to blame it on somebody else. Same thing with the VA. You went through a bad experience and you didn't take accountability to make sure that you did what you could to try to fix your situation. So you're just going to blame it on the next situation or on the next person or on the next generation that now has to deal with the stuff or the inability of the prior group to do something about it. So right now, we are this group. Right now, we are this veteran group. If we don't say nothing about it, all those people that are serving right now, when they decide to get out, what happens? They're going to have less benefits. They're going to have less resources. And it was just like, if we don't say nothing, it was like, hey, vets don't give a shit. Why should we start cutting that stuff? And it's just like, that's the main thing. It's like, that's why I tell people, like, look, most of the time the streams on TikTok are the ones where I get political and I just start ranting and I start talking facts. And it's dealing with ignorance of people that don't want to listen, don't care to educate themselves, don't believe to anything you say because it didn't come out of a news source that they believe or a friend that they believe or a person that said it. And it's just like, that's the problem. We're taking the information that's being given to us at face value and not doing anything about it. So yes, I have to voice my opinion. I have the ability to think. I have the rationale to do it. I want to see people do good. I want to see veterans taken care of. I want to see anybody in society that lives in this fucking country taken care of. So yes, I am going to voice my opinion. Not everybody's going to like it. Some people dislike it. Some people will come in and just start straight talking shit. Some people will just try to gaslight. Some people just make mentions of stuff that they know isn't even true just to try to say it and make any more sense. And it's just like, I don't care about that shit. I want to make sure that this whole country is doing good. You're only as strong as your weakest link. And if that means the weakest link is a kid that needs school lunch, then the kid needs fucking school lunch. If that means that veteran needs health care, that means that veteran needs health care. If that's the weakest link we got, that means we got to put the resources to fix it. It's not that we're getting rid of resources. It's like if you're just getting resources indiscriminately, that doesn't help any situation. You want to make cuts here, you want to make cuts here, but you can't tell me what the positive effects are these cuts are going to do. The thing is most people don't want to have the conversations. Most people don't want to have these conversations. Most of the people that I call out don't want to have this conversation. I was like, you have the right to call me out on bullshit, but if I'm not talking bullshit and I'm making a whole lot of sense and I'm factually telling you what's going on, you can't be mad at me because you feel uncomfortable that you were wrong. I've been wrong plenty of times. I apologize plenty of times on these lives. It's just like, yeah, I fucked up. My bad. The information I got was wrong. My bad. Some people can't do that. A lot of people can't handle these conversations because they'll get upset and they'll just start name calling and doing something else because it's just like, oh, this is what I'm going to say and this is what I'm going to do because you know what? I ain't got nothing good to say. I was like, that's fine. I could be a smart ass too. But at least I'm taking care of myself and I'm taking care of those who I can. I was like, not everybody's going to want the help. Not everybody's going to agree with me. But if you needed assistance and you decided because of your political affiliations, you didn't want to get assistance because it was coming from a person from another party, you beyond fucked. That's it. There's no fixing that. There's no fixing me having the ability to assist you and you not wanting to be assisted because you don't agree with me on a different topic. That kind of ignorance can be kept to themselves. People can't have that conversation. People are scared to have these conversations. That's fine. If you can't talk about progress and you get mad because it doesn't agree with what you want to do, you don't want progress. What you want is what's best for you, not what's best for all. Last I checked, everybody in society should be good. You should be able to take care of yourself, and you should be able to take care of those around you. And it shouldn't be a fucking burden to make sure that the person to your left and your right is doing good. Same way when you were in service, you were able to take care of your left or your right. Some of y'all were pieces of shit that didn't do that. That's self-explanatory. But there was NCOs and there was leaders that actually took care of their subordinates, took care of their supervisors, took care of those that needed the assistance. They didn't ask for anything back because they knew it was the good thing to do. It was the right thing to do. It strengthened their unit, their platoon, their company, their battalion, because you made sure to help and assist left and right. Those people knew you had their back, so they had yours. Right now, can't do that because it's like having these conversations. Some people don't want to listen to me. Some people don't give a shit. I don't give a shit either. If people don't want to listen to me and I'm helping them, that's their problem. What you want me to do? I'm not going to go all over the place trying to, like, no, I do these workshops every Sunday. I push this shit out. I tell people this and I try to educate them on what it is. You could tune in or you could go and pay somebody for this. I'm doing this shit for free. I don't charge anybody for any free information. You come up with a question, I'm going to give you the best answer I can find, or I'm going to point you in a direction where you can get that answer, or I'm going to tell you who you need to go to get that answer. But you're not going to pay for it. It's free education. It's free information. All you need to do is ask questions, and I'm here to assist because it lets me learn shit. I learned resources that I know I can use sometimes off of people just mentioning them. But bashing you, if I'm bashing you, it's because you deserve to be bashed. You deserve to hear this. You deserve to be called out. You deserve to be told you are a piece of shit. You deserve to be hearing that. Not enough people hear it. Everybody thinks it's just like all great and stuff. It's like, that's not how it is. It's like some people need assistance, some don't. Just because you don't want to render assistance doesn't mean you got to tell somebody else not to do it either. See, Annette says, I needed someone like you when I was in the military. I needed somebody like myself when I was in the military, Annette. It took me getting out of the military. But while in service, it was just like I had I had great fucking leaders. I was lucky enough to have some great fucking leaders when I came in, and those leaders taught me how to take care of those around me. Taught me how to be a more, I guess, like a more passionate person. I was already a passionate person, but when it came to assisting people, it helped because it was just like, hey, some people, not everybody goes through the same issues. Not everybody deals with the same stuff. Some people go through tougher times than others, and it's just like, if I'm able to assist you through it, it's no weight on me. It's just like some people just don't want to do that. Some people don't want to help. Some people don't want to take care of people. It's just like, I was just like people. Yeah, I still got I got people that reach out to me still trying to get information. I got people that I went to high school with that I ain't even served with, that they ended up serving, and they came and asked me questions because I saw the platform I have. And I was just like, it's a free platform. I try to push it out as much as I can. Um, I do it here on TikTok. I do it on YouTube. It's just like I gain what I gain. I don't what I don't. It's just like some people leave because they ain't happy with it. See, look, Gabriel says he had no clue till 23 years later. Annette says she had pieces of shit in the military. And that happens. And you still got soldiers now that are dealing with piece of shit leaders. So the thing is those same soldiers, though, are going to be veterans. And at the end of the day, they didn't get taught nothing because they had a supervisor that didn't know how to be a leader in the first place. Or they were just trash or a piece of shit. But now the effects of having that kind of leadership leads you to a difficult time as a veteran because then you didn't get educated about anything your leadership did while you were serving. They didn't prepare you for the out because all they say is just like, hey man, it's bad out there. Um, you're gonna be terrible. You should just re-enlist. I was just like, so you want me to re-enlist to deal with your dumbass for a couple more years, and you mean to tell me it's worse out there when you haven't been in the civilian world for that long too? I was just like, that's questionable. But a young soldier that don't know any better doesn't know about the VRE, doesn't know about the GI Bill, or they know because they got the GI Bill, but they don't know about the VRE. Yeah, like I said, Gabriel, I was talking to somebody yesterday that stopped by the house because we had a little thing here, and he was in the military, and I told him, man, get everything documented. If you planning to get out, go to the doctor, get your shit documented. Make sure you do the BDD process so that you can get your stuff done before you exit the military. So by the time you get out, within a month, you're already getting your disability checks. People don't know that. Most of the time, those younger soldiers get screwed over because they're a young soldier and don't know any better, or their leadership was shit and didn't even give them the time to process, to out process and become a stable staple in fucking the military or outside the military. It was just like people don't do that, but it's just like that's why it's just like having these conversations. It's just like not everybody agrees with it. Shit. Most of the time when I do these, this doesn't get pushed out. It doesn't get pushed out to many people. Why? I don't know. If I put a different thing, like you can see the different things I put on things, just like it's depending. If I put a title that's gonna like alarm people, people will join in and then they might want to listen. I was just like, I ain't gonna bullshit you and gaslight you. I'm gonna just tell you straight how it is. I ain't got time to be bullshitting people anymore. We've been bullshitted. I'm tired of being bullshitted. So I'm not gonna bullshit people when I'm tired of getting bullshitted. I'm gonna tell people how it is. I'm gonna tell people how I feel. It's just like, hey, you don't like how I talk? Go somewhere else. I didn't say I didn't like you off the rip. I don't even know who the fuck you are. I'm just trying to educate you on the shit you need. But that's all it is, man. It's just like there's stuff that's coming up, there's changes that's upcoming, and it's just like people need to understand that and be aware of these things because these things are gonna happen. Some of the shit we have no fucking idea what's gonna happen. But we have to have these conversations. Like I said, it doesn't matter what side on the fucking aisle you want to fall under when it comes to politics. You're still a veteran. These are still your benefits. These are still other veterans' benefits. These are still benefits for those active duty service members that are going to get out. Longer wait times don't help nobody. Because the thing is if people were mad before when they couldn't get an appointment, I want to see the shit they about to talk now when their appointment gets extended even further. Because They ain't got the workers for it. But I don't know. Well, it's just like we'll wait and see. We'll hope for the best. We'll wish the best things happen. We'll wish that whatever stupidity these people think is gonna work actually does work. Um, that's what I'm hoping for, regardless. Am I a fan of it? No. Do I hope it works? Yes. Um, I just don't want to see the issues of the problems we had where we had veterans not being able to be taken care of because they didn't have the resources available because they weren't there. Depending on what they keep doing, depending on how they do these cuts, these 80,000, where they go to, where the money that they supposedly saved is going to go back into, all multitude of things that they can say they're going to do it, but until they actually do it, it doesn't change anything. They already said that we're going to cut, so we know we're going to get the cuts. They say they're going to fix the VA, but they can't tell you specifically how they're going to fix it. That's already an issue. It's just like, if you can't tell me where you're planning to throw the money at that you supposedly saved, you didn't have a plan for this money in the first place. So you didn't have a concrete plan to tell me, hey, we're going to save money in this location to then put it into this specific location. It's more of a, we're going to save all this money and then we're going to decide, oh, we should put it to this, we should put it to that. But then who decides that? How do we get those figures? How do we get those numbers? How do we identify, oh, this place needs more money, or this program needs more money, or you know what, this VA facility needs more money? You just cut a whole bunch of their workers, but they need more workers. Like, there is no documentation for the money saved in it. There's no documentation. They just say that they cut contracts. They've gone over a bunch of contracts and they've saved a bunch of money off of the contracts that they've saved. Cool. Show us that. Doge was able to come up with bullshit. They showed it. Then once people started to actually understand where there was no savings being made, then all of a sudden everything is questionable. I was like, these people are questionable. You make statements to start off saying that you did something that you didn't do and you want to take credit for it. That leads me to believe that you're going to say other things that most people will not do a in-depth search into or in-depth analysis of, and people are going to eat that shit up and you're going to be happy because it's like, hey, I at least got these veterans off my back. I told them we were going to cut 80,000 people, but that money's going to go into benefits. And veterans, most veterans that ate all that shit up was just like, oh, that sounds amazing. Yeah, let's do it. Where's the fucking money going? You can show me, you can't show me what you cut. Because it's just like, this is still public funding. This is still taxpayer money. So you should be able to show shit. Every service member has the fucking right to know where this money's going and how it's being spent. Why? Because while we were in service, we were paying our own fucking wages. So if I was paying myself while working in the military, I should be able to know where my money's going to afterwards to take care of me at the same time. My thought process. Maybe not everybody agrees with it, but that's my thought process. We paid ourselves while we were serving. You should be able to tell me without a doubt where the money is going to that is going to help benefit us service members and us veterans. If you can't tell me that, I don't want to hear no bullshit about it. We should be able to know. Plain and simple. It should be able to tell me where this fucking money's going. Is it going to more doctors? Is it going to make another facility? Is it to enhance the smaller clinics we have? Is it to build another clinic? Is it to fund a new wing for a new hospital? Is it to fund a new mental health situation or a mental health? All this stuff, and I'm just like, oh, it's just money laundering, Daisha. The whole crypto thing, that's always been money laundering. People don't want to talk about it. People stay quiet and people want to be naive about it. It's just like, we never dealt with cryptocurrency and all of a sudden you want to build a reserve for it, meaning you have something that doesn't actually exist and you're going to inflate it with money. And then when you pick and choose, you will deflate it. Because you haven't been able to actually cover the stuff or make sure what the stuff is if it's in an exchange. You want to charge it, but then you want to make it that way. So it defeats the purpose of what the crypto was made for. Same thing with veteran stuff. You defeat the purpose of helping and assisting veterans when you take away the shit that they are using. When you cut the resources of what they need. There's no fucking it's going backwards, and that's the whole thing. We're going backwards, and it's not doing anything. People need to be better about researching the stuff that's being put out to them, whether political, whether not political, educational, worldwide news, whatever. You have to do the research. Stop taking the stuff at face value, because they're lying to us. These people are not batting like Elon's dumbass said. Oh, I'm not batting 100 or 1,000. Actually, he's just batting 1, but it's okay. He put it like that, and he said it straight out. It's just like, so we need to pay attention when they say these things. Pay attention. There's people that are trying to assist with this VA stuff, because the person that leaked that memo saying that there was 80,000 people going to get fired, that person wants to help veterans. And you can't tell me that's not the case. You can't tell me that that person that leaked that memo didn't do it to make sure that there was uproar by veterans to show like, hey, they are planning to make these changes. We need to find a way to stop this, or we need to bring visibility to this so that it's not just okay for all these 80,000 people to get fired. Especially from people that don't serve the country, never served the country, don't know what veterans go through, and never probably been to a fucking VA hospital. But we can go on with this for days, just talking about this stuff. But it's just like, this is information that's there that people just don't know. Just keep on passing to it. We have our the Vet Awareness Project website. You can check that out. I'm gonna see. I gotta work on it. My mind has been all over the place with all this shit going on, so I haven't put too much time into it lately. But I definitely plan on putting like a breaking news segment or a updated news segment so that at least people could check the thing and just like be fully aware, like, hey, this is what they're saying. This is what came out. Whether it's through VA news or through like congress.gov, if they put a new bill out and stuff like that, try to put that stuff out there so that people could read them and look into it, so that way they are aware of what's happening. So that it's just like, hey, this bill is in the pipeline. All right, how do we get this to not happen? How do we stop this? How do we file what we need to? Or how do we talk to our politicians like, hey, I saw this bill. We don't want this shit. That's the kind of energy and the thought process we need to start having as veterans, instead of just leaving it as is, because us leaving it as is and letting these people make all these decisions is not going to benefit us. Multi-billionaires do not care for what is going on with the daily person. They don't experience what happens with the daily person. Multi-billionaires running an entity that they want to use to their benefit is not going to help society. It's not going to help veterans. Not going to tell me that a person that's a billionaire is concerned about healthcare when they can take care of their own health and pay for it 10 times over and still not even feel a dent in their pocket. They're not gonna, I can assure you that anybody that's a billionaire is not like, hey, your next appointment is in 4 months. They got the money to go wherever the hell they want. But if you don't have the money like that to do it in the VA, you can't expect contracting and community care to grow if you're reducing the resources that are available for people to use them. But we'll leave it at that, y'all. I think I've rattled off enough for today. And I'm gonna just leave it at that. We'll just leave it. I know this wasn't much of a workshop. It's just, I think these conversations we just got to keep on having so that more people pay attention to them, more people see them, because a lot of people are not. A lot of people are not paying attention, and they don't know what the fuck is going on. And we need to make sure that we are keeping them aware, letting them know, because too much shit is happening, too much that is frustrating, and too much that is just like, we need to do better as veterans, work better together as veterans, and take care of each other. But if we don't do that, we're not going to get anywhere, and this is just going to be a situation of down the road, I told you so. Not what I want, but that's what it's leading towards, that it's going to be a I told you so. We could have done this. We could have spoke up. We could have tried to change this. We could have tried to avoid or stop them from doing this, but we decided to stay quiet, or we had people that decided to agree with it and didn't think it through. And some people were just selfish, some people were assisting, and it's just like whichever way we fall under, if we ain't doing this together as veterans, if we ain't strengthening the weakest link we got, we ain't gonna make it out of this in a good fashion. So appreciate everybody that tuned in. As always, appreciate the members of the channel. Annette, thank you as always for being here. Thank you for supporting the channel. Everybody that comes in, anybody that gave gifts today on TikTok, I appreciate you. Thank you for doing that. We'll do this again next Sunday. We'll try to stick to a topic or find a topic that we know is not going to go through massive changes, and we'll try to do that for next week's workshop. But throughout the week, I'll probably do a couple of just like random pop-up Q&As. TikTok, we'll be going back to our little more the political discussion thing there, so we'll separate those things. The site, everything on the channel, we try to make it that is just veteran. When it comes to TikTok, TikTok is a whole different thing. It's more like a personal channel for me. But I appreciate y'all. As always, thank y'all for tuning in. Thank you for supporting the channel. Y'all have a great Sunday. Y'all have a great rest of your week. Y'all be good to one another. Take care of one another. Look out for one another. Love one another. And stay marvelous while doing it, y'all. I appreciate y'all. Like I said, we'll put a topic up and we'll probably put a community post on YouTube just to let people know, like, hey, this is the topic of the week. Probably put a thumbnail because that'll probably help instead of just a regular one, and we'll do it that way. The regular pop-ups, it'll just be pop-ups throughout the week. Probably may not be Thursdays anymore because of the fact that I start class for my second 8-week course is that class, but whole different thing. We'll see. Appreciate y'all. You have a good one. Peace.